right, let us begin. Let us make the going happen. All right, hello everybody. Hello. I'm going to chill on the screen for a while. Today it's going to try something very special today. I'm going to do another reading stream. Ooh. This one is going to be from once again from the Monster Manual, my favorite one. It's almost a bit of a poetry book in a way too. It is Veins of the Earth by Patrick Stewart and illustrated by Scrap Princess. You can see this little spooky lad over on the side. This is going to be the first monster I'm going to read about. This is the Angler Lich. It's a fun little monster that there's a lot of monsters in the book that are kind of like in theory a monster book is supposed to like really hype up the monster that you're going to be fighting. So it's like you fight the monster and it's like, ooh, it's gonna be real scary and kill you dead. But like usually they kind of like, well, but maybe if you play your cards right, maybe you can beat them. And then the Angler Lich in particular is pretty spicy. Stock Shock, hello. And Dinosaur, hello. How are you two doing? Right on time. I have just started. See, I had a little technical difficulties, aka I might have accidentally started the stream without changing my data. Doing good. I'm doing good. It's another lazy. I had zero energy most of today for some reason. I was just vegging hard. But yeah. Did I literally do anything productive today? No. I rested, which I mean that's fine. Pokemon Snap. Oh, how is it? Okay. So I got burned when I was younger by playing Pokemon Snap. I got Pokemon Snap for my birthday. It was a newish game at the time. I was like, ooh, Pokemon Snap. And I beat it within half an hour, like just start to finish. And then I 100% cleared it like 3 hours later. I was so bummed. So that's my tale of tragedy for. I guess streaming's productive, but I always see streaming as like a fun thing for me. It's always more just like pretty chill and fun for the most part. Yeah. I've been doing. Well, let me give me a drink too. I'm a big thirst. There's a lot more. Okay. Maybe it's worth checking. I mean, if you're having fun, that sounds cool. I don't know. I'll just see. Maybe I'll look into getting it at some point. Maybe once the hype dies down, then I can maybe stream it. I don't know. I got a lot of games to sift through. But I actually got like new mechanics and stuff. Oh, okay. Oxide, hello, how's it going? Thank you for continuing this 3 months. Wow. Hot damn, wow. I say this literally every time someone like resubs, but like every time I see people resub, it's just like the hours have passed. So wait, I'll say my mic arm has gotten squeaky and I might have to apply some WD-40 to that at some point, but we'll do that later. All right, it seems like we got a pretty good audience of people coming in right now. We got a lot of familiar faces. So I'm going to start. Can you guys hear that? Big D20, hello. How's it going? All right. Everyone seems to be having fun. Everyone is here. I'm going to start. I have how many monsters I have prepared? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 13 monsters picked out from this book. These are also like my favorites. The ASMR. The ASMR tags are really loose. I'm mostly putting that there to experiment on tags and stuff. It's a bit squeaky, but nothing that some WD-40 won't fix. It's in theory, this is a Rode mic arm. I got the same one Okayu got because I mean, if she's like a big person. Veins of the Earth. It is effectively a Lamentations of the Flame Princess module, though technically it's loose enough that you can more or less use it at any version of D&D that's not like 3rd or 4th. Like you could probably cram most of these into maybe 5th edition with some noodling around. The Rotom, it's super good. I've had mine a while ago. Poltergeist, hello. All right. We got a bunch of people. I want to keep chatting, but also I'm torn. I want to chat with all you lovely folks, but I also want to read from the book. So I'll have some fun chatting. You're not late. No, you came in just in time. I have not read a single monster. Not a single monster at all. In fact, I can start with the first one. Here we go. Yeah, I never ran the system, but ran the Halbernacht. Exactly. There's a couple of the Because I know I basically I'm not like super brand loyal to Lamentations, but anything done by Patrick Stewart I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of first was Goblins. No, this is the monster we start off with is way the fuck too powerful to be like reasonably fought. But that's half the fun. But Kami, good morning, good morning. How's it going? How's it going? I'm about to read some monsters, but yeah, Pig D20. Anything by Patrick Stewart, like Deep Carbon Observatory, Fire in the Velvet Horizon. I even have if this means anything to anybody, I have a physical copy. Someone has to be the redheaded human. Oh, you got a red. Oh shit! Oh shit! You should prep for that, Kami. You should prep for that. Get your meringues situated. I remember just seeing a tweet for yours saying that like you just like you have very chef problems. That is very amusing. Though I'm wishing you best of luck. Yeah, everyone wish Commissar Azura best of luck for her test. Yeah, Pachi, you got this. I'm doing clapping. I don't know how clapping sounds in my mic, but hopefully it sounds good. Hopefully it sounds good. Well, since Kami's about to ollie out, I'm gonna try to at least do one monster while she's still here. So this monster is the Angular Lich. Ooh, Emily, thank you. Doing a good stretch. I got my drink. Let us begin with the Angular Lich. The Angular Lich is a cosmic monster, evolved to eat heroic souls. It farms them like ants farm aphids on the leaf. Creates a pseudo-villain lure, one made to outrage every decent mind. Then it sets its plotting, and murdering. The schemes of an Angular Lich lure make no long-term sense. The lure itself is barely awake. Much of its plotting is semi-random instinct action. It does have enough Lich-type skills to fake a decent prick, zap a few thralls, burn a village, sack a town, pervert girl, but the only reason it does anything at all is to provoke the pure-hearted. It thrusts forth the lure to tickle awake the hero's heart with phenomenal death games, watches it progress, occasionally dipping back into reality to encourage its growth and development. Heroes grow in horror to oppose. This can take years or days. The fish doesn't care about time, it cares about quality. When the hero is finally ripe, a showdown is engineered. The hero wins, the fish arrives Cheshire Cat style, and feeds. When your players encounter one, all they will know is that they have met someone totally evil who really pisses them off. It doesn't have to be a lich. To create an Angular Lich lure, imagine the kind of villain you usually invent, and then create a slightly more shit version of it. A bit flatter, a bit less well thought out, a bit more incoherent. The fish is not quite as smart as you, but it knows just as much. Like the referee, it is outside of reality. You can use your meta-knowledge to make someone who will both provoke players to heroics in their character. You can use your meta-knowledge to make someone who will provoke both players and characters to heroics. That is what the fish is doing after all. But remember the tube of gray flesh that puppets the lure. That is something the players can notice. And remember the lure has a slight different fictional signature than the rest of the game you make. Whatever kind of game you run, it's a little off. In Gonzo games, it's a little too serious and dramatic. In cartoony games, it's a little too cheap and cartoony. And remember its plans make no real sense. The players and characters should be able to work something as up. All right, that is the Angular Lich. It's a very fun monster. It's a very interesting, generally for these readings, I'm not necessarily going to describe their mechanics, but I feel like this one is pretty important. The idea is that as read in the story, is that the Angular Lich has like this little fake lure that it pretends to be a lich, and then once the party is good and ready, the rest of its skill set's basically based on swallowing the party whole and consuming them when they least expect it. It's Patrick Stewart always had these like little monsters that like are a lot of times they're puns. Legitimately, the dude will base so many monsters on puns. It's really amusing to me. But besides the puns, has like little bits of like meta knowledge in a couple of his monsters. Like the idea that like the Angular Lich, just sort of like how I did the Anti-Phoenix in my my 1 year anniversary. My 1 year anniversary. I have so many special events. I'm getting them mixed up. My 1 year anniversary. It's sort of like a very strange meta sort of monster. I thought it'd be a good one to start off with. Just some a little weird, some a little spicy. Also, I have the way I have bookmarked this. So as every person who has ever played a card game, you're drowned in like shit cards. And usually what I do for my shit Magic cards is I use them for bookmarks. There is not a single tabletop role playing game book in my entire house that is not at least covered in like 2 or 3 cards somewhere in them. Yeah. As far as like also something I kind of want to do with these, maybe the Angler Lich not as much, but I would kind of explain how I want to Angler Lick. Angle Lich. Yeah, exactly. What I'm going to do is maybe for some of these I'd describe how I would use them in a game. Starting with the Angular Lich is going to be very weird because I would say I would not use this in a game at all, probably. In theory, I could run it as like I think it'd be a good high-level one-shot, maybe? So it's Echo. Always back to Vor with Echo, always back to Vor. But like at least this one, it's too powerful, it's too much of a joke that I find it more interesting as like as a reading thing. Which is another reason I really like Patrick Stewart's books, because they're very interesting. I like me a role-playing game book that's an interesting read in addition to just providing content. Like for me, none of the 5th edition books really fit that itch, but like a lot of the old like Planescape stuff, a lot of role-playing games that are not D&D usually have like a certain tone and mood to them that make them interesting reads. Low Life is another one that I really love. Low Life is a role-playing game that the best way I could describe it is if like the Jim Henson Company made a role-playing game about dirty mutant puppets in a post-apocalypse. It's a very niche setting for Savage Worlds, but it's super fun. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It's a book that's put together. It's drawn and written and mechanically put together by the same dude, Andy Hopp, which is very interesting. I do, yeah. Pick D20. I do think a lot of these are good for one shots. The way I kind of classify a lot of monsters in general, there's monsters that I think are good like grunts. Like there's monsters that like you just need a fight, and then that's usually where stuff like goblins and whatnot goes. Greetings, Cracker. Hello. How's it going? We are doing a reading stream from Veins of the Earth tonight, a really fun role-playing game book. I'm describing what I consider different types of like for me, Monsters Day, they come in it does look cool. All the art in this book is done by Scrap Princess, and she has a very distinct style. Some of it is borderline scribble nonsense, but it is really good. It's a very interesting. Yeah, everyone give Cracker the absolute mad ladder last. Give a pachi because they went bananas last stream. So let's see. Let's go ahead. How are we doing? We are doing good. I am very. Oh, this is one of my brain broken. I just reading through these. Oh yeah, the other 2 classifications for me for monsters. I also really like monsters that you can base like a whole encounter on. And for me, like the apex monster, like the thing that I really like the most is like a monster that you can build a whole campaign around. And I think this next example is going to be actually wait a minute. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do this monster instead first before we get to that. Also, I want to make sure I put up pictures of all these because I don't want to show like the actual rules because I think I don't know exactly where the legal space for reading streams is, but I figure yeah I'm recognizing all the names in chat. It makes me very happy. I love it when you guys come back multiple times. It's so good. All right, so we're gonna get the Cambriman now, and like as that one was very somber and serious, this is probably one of the silliest monster in the book. It's a very happy-go-lucky squishy friend. Here's a Cambriman. It is a gooey amoeba bud. I say bud, but they kind of describe it as more like a very stupid monster, which I really it brings some levity to the thing. It is a friend. It's friend-shaped, but this book very much dunks on them. Are we going to get a Hal tier list of these monsters? Ooh, actually, that's a good idea. Wait, let me see. I don't have a tier maker set up, but here's what I'll do. Next to me, I'll put the monster. I'll kind of do like a one after the other. So here's Angler Lich. I'm just gonna stack them on top from my favorite to least favorite. So we'll put Lich in the middle, and we'll kind of bump it up and down as we go. Maybe let me scoot myself over a bit. I'll add a little bit more room. Most dateable to least. I mean, most of these I don't think are going to be like particularly. Do I have like any monsters that would even be remotely sexy? Maybe if you like giant bugs. I think there's a giant bug in here. There's like a cool ghost wolf lady. Oh, Olms might be saucy. I'll put my favorite at the top. I think that's an easy metric to keep track of. All right, so we're gonna do the Cambrimen now. And yeah, I think the tier list is a good idea. I should have did that. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Also, Poltergeist, you're allowed to swear in my stream. You don't have to censor yourself. It is all good. It is all good. All right, let me get a sip. Let me get a sip. That multidimensional enemy is Mary. I am a pure being. I'm trying to think of which one from here. I don't know. I'll post the one that I think out of all my choices is probably the one that looks the visually sauciest. Not that it'd be like something I'd necessarily go for, but the one that I could think people. Sometimes you want to remain pure in house streams. Sometimes. All right, so not me. Stock shock. All right. Let's go. All right, Dad. All right. Settle down, kid. Settle down. All right, this is time for some very unsexy enemies. This is now the Cambrimen. They stumble into view, jerking like jellyfish corpses poked by broken sticks, snapping and retracting like living cheese pizza. Imagine 6 gigantic, fat, translucent, milky cells in a tube about 5 feet high. Then 2 stalks poking out the top. Each stalk is made of 3 thinner cells in another tube, and where they meet at the top, a bunch of 6-foot antennae and some kind of hard-boiled egg sensory thing. The Cambrimen were the first attempt of eukaryote cells at a human shape. But life didn't have enough genetic complexity to build anything good, so they ended up like this. They don't look like creepy primal Cthulhuid enemies. They look fucking useless. You can actually see the cell core floating around in there like a murky walnut. If you held it in your hands, you'd feel your palms tickle as their crap analog genes divided. Its skin feels cold and mucousy like wet baby hands. Pathetic, failed beings. Legs barely differentiated. If they stand still too long, their legs grow back together. Just a stupid tube, really. Chatter and wander around like idiots. Overlong monotone hoots, a babbling spasm language, jumbled syntax. Nothing wants to eat them because their stupid giant cells just mash like jelly. Even oozes won't touch them. So hard to kill because simple makeup means no nervous system, so no traumatic damage. No complex biological transmitters means no poison. Can't drown, can't breathe, barely grows old. Has something like a pseudo-culture, like a subnormal child reading the back of a book upside down because it's seen you do it. Models kind of break. Oh, it's because I'm reading down too much. Here, let me do this. Here, I know. So I physically have the book. I'm gonna read directly from my PDF copy though. Here we go. The Cambrimen keep living book slaves of intelligent races around to help them remember things and to remind them what their culture is. Nothing can stop the slaves from escaping, but this is actually one of the safest jobs in the veins. If you don't mind being looked down on by other slaves. End of stupidity. No one will come looking for escapees amongst the Cambrimen, as dealing with them is too much trouble. Anyone with things to do stay far, far away from this intellectual tar pit. The Cambrimen are too stupid and deranged to be really cruel to their slaves. Their slaves are all more intelligent, but the Cambrimen are too thick to be manipulated. Nothing can control them. They would not understand what the means of control is. Alright, here we go. Yeah, I was looking down too much. Yeah, I was about to say, this book really does like grill the Cambrimen very hard. It's gonna make you fall asleep. This is pretty peaceful. This is pretty peaceful. I've been there before, Poltergeist. I understand. Yeah, my model was breaking because I was looking down. Listen, I have the physical book of this. This is one of my favorites in my collection. So Cambrimen, I would actually run in a game. I think the fact that like they were designed to be very pitiable and stupid, and I guess a little bit comedic. The physical, it's maybe about a foot tall. It's not a very huge book size-wise, but it's very thick. We're talking about, how many pages are we sitting on here? Page count. We're sitting at over 350 pages. So it is it doesn't take up a lot of stuff size-wise, but it's very thick, which I like. It's a good hand feel. It's got a good hand feel. You guys know I have very tiny hands, so any book that is appropriately sized for my baby grips Oh, it is a big boy. It is a big boy indeed. Yeah. They were made to be stupid. They're like me. Stockshot, you're being too mean to yourself. You're being too mean to yourself. But so cameramen, I do think would be good grunt enemies. I think if you wanted to because I think goblins are pretty played out, and at this point, people kind of has internalized goblins as like this is a PC race now. Like if you want something that would like really work as like stupid, ineffectual, like grunt monsters, I think cameramen would be a good choice. You could basically put them in any sort of game with like a lot of subterranean traveling. I don't think it'd really work as something above the surface, but you could always put them in like tucked away in like forgotten caverns. Maybe something like they were too dumb to die when they got buried by volcanic ash, and have been kind of like uncovered. Like you could do a fun adventure where like an archaeologist team finds a bunch of them, and they're just so like dumb and stupid they're just kind of like ruining the dig. Like they're actively like destroying the tools and like hugging all the researchers and just being like big nuisances, and like the party has to deal with them. Like a good low stakes adventure, like a little bit comedic, but also like because sometimes when you play with groups of new people, you don't know that like some groups are fine, but some groups you're like, oh god, if I put them against one goblin, their bones are going to explode because they don't know what's going on. Exactly, Valis. Evolution has been trying to kill them for years, but they're too stupid to die. It is funny. They actually have usually when I kind of skip through some of the other stuff, this does have some other fun facts about the cameramen. So like here's what their treasures are. Shiny glittery crap kept in a big chest sealed with broken locks and frayed ropes, broken pottery, hanks of hair, polished bones, a small spattering of coins, broken blades, unusual skulls, animal claws, chunks of semi-precious stone. Exactly. I think you could put them in. I think actually the fictional campaign session of like the party defending a archaeological dig from stupid like throwback monsters that they dug up would be very amusing. Would be very amusing indeed. I'd think it'd be fun. Their language is also very funny too. Like here's the way they speak. I'm gonna put on my best like stupid cartoony voice. So for attention, look. Directions, wah. Detention, my prisoner. Detection, where go. Inspection, is good. And this good. And this. And then invention, when they do something, make it good. How is their name written? It is written like this. I will copy and paste it. Yeah, if you guys want to rip off any of these ideas that I'm throwing in this, go for it. I would love to inspire a potential session in this silly put together reading stream. That'd be great. Let me see. I don't do that like I used to be able to make that voice sound like Meatwad, and it's casually sitting to my DM. Ooh, yes. Honestly, Blades, not Blades. I'm about to say Blades in the Dark. Blades in the Dark is a good system. Already ripping off stuff. Fuck yeah, that's how you do it. There's so many good ideas to steal from all kinds of media and whatnot. Like I would recommend heartily. Rip off full ass monsters. Why not? Go for it. Gosh, let me see something. What's going on here? All right, let me take a quick drink, and we'll move on to another monster. All right, this one's going to be a bit longer. Oh, tier list. So in the fictional tier list, I'll eventually, maybe after the stream is done, I'll put together an actual tier list. So I'm going to put the Camryman. Imagine a list that creates this thing as a mistake. Exactly. Just like failed sorcery. Just try to make like a big single cell organism. So I'm going to put the Camryman above the Angler Lich because I think it's a lot more usable. I think it's a lot more fun. So the next monster is the Civilopede, and this is generally in Patrick Stewart books. You can tell what is like sort of like the big dick like showcase monster because it'll get it'll get a double page art spread, and this one is a real beauty. This is some primo Scrap Princess work. Fucking gnat. All right, here we go. Let me see. Yeah, just the idea of just like a bad guy who's just really incompetent at making just like minions is very amusing. Maybe just like a very low level caster trying their best. So this is the Civilopede, and this is a big boy. This is a very big boy. I'm gonna squish it around here. I might scoop myself just so you guys can kind of just like embrace just how beautiful. Like this is such a good piece of art. This is so good. I love the Patrick Stewart books. I love the Scrap Princess art style. I love the fact that they always work together, it seems like. I think the only book I've seen that they didn't work together on is Lair of the Blue Medusa, which is a interesting like it's kind of like another one of these weird art piece adventure paths, I guess. Made by Patrick Stewart and Zach S. That guy has a bit of a contentious history within the RPG community, but whatever. It's one of the crown jewels on my of my collection, like one of the rarest books I own. Mine is a first edition copy, and the company, I'm gonna kill this bot. The company that made it, Seder Press, has like fallen to ruins, so basically it's never going to get reprinted. So it is. I have a couple of really prized books in my collection. There's that. I have a copy of the Knights of the Old Republic source book for Star Wars Saga Edition. I have a hardbound copy of Eor's Essence, which is a bananas book that has suddenly become a collector's item because it is very stupid. It's a very stupid book. It's a very weird setting. But I am very glad that I own one. I picked it up on a whim a couple of years back, and it's been good to me. Alright, so now, but that's enough about me ranting about my collection. I'm going to read the Civilopede, and I'm going to read it from the PDF, so that way I can look upwards, and I won't be going like, bah. There we go. Alright, the Civilopede. Let me make this text a little bigger, too. My poor elven eyes. I got pretty good eyesight, actually. I got, like, 2015 vision, but I have limits. Here we go. The stone will shake and hum under your feet. A train track turning fork blur. A dead train rushing silently downhill on a dark line. You smell old books, preservative, incense and blood. You hear nothing but the rushing of a gradually rising wind. Sometimes there is conversation, gentle, distant, and refined, approaching impossibly fast. Sometimes there is music. The music is always experimental, beautiful, disturbing, and rare. It is also approaching very, very quickly. In a close tunnel, the wind becomes a gale. Bats and blind lamenters sometimes glide the prow wind like a flock. It's here. The Civilopede. The crypts of Tomasavari seek you out. Moose, hello. This is a reading stream. You come in just in time for the Civilopede, which is that little fun boy on the right. Its head is beautiful, alien, terrifying, and aware. Two symmetrical These are a lot of scientific terminologies. This is where I'm going to struggle. Forcipules. Two symmetrical forcipules, saber curve round. They can crush trucks and poison gods. Venom hisses and drips from keening points. A forest of child-sized maximillae and churning waves. A field of abrasive plates and insect pads. Moving together like spasmic hands, holding and refolding. Black, delicate mandible arrays pick up pieces with a caring touch. A field of dark ocelli stars, glinting like black-ground industrial gems, radial, symmetrical, and uncounted. The organs are huge, the size of dinner plates, topographically unique, strangely vectored gaps, burning with anti-diamond dull negative space. These may be how it senses art. Its gaze is like stepping onto an empty road, and turning a second too late to see chrome bars shining and stacked before a hard predatory mass. Unseen face behind the screen-reflecting screen. Knowing it's too late. You are centered in its path. That pre-impact mood, that is the gaze of the Civilopede. Where does it come from? Where does it go? And why? It seems a thing alone. There has never been more than one, and that one has always been there. Sometimes it disappears for centuries at a time. Then it reappears, exhibits lost and chitin scarred. Books have been written on the Civilopede. You can find them on the Civilopede. Many people have asked a question, what is art? And okay, but is it any good? In the veins, these questions have no meaning. If the Civilopede likes it, then it's art. And if it doesn't, it also eats you, and then it is very good art. It really does have excellent taste. Knowledgeable and wide-ranging. It's been around long enough to see some of everything, and the quality of its cumulative choices have built up over time to become the virtual definition of worth. Artists fling themselves onto its path holding masterworks. It eats them. It also takes the art on board and makes their name forever. On 8 recorded occasions, it has refused to eat younger artists. Each became an undisputed genius in their field and was eaten, but not before they changed everything. I immediately thought the Cotton Eye Joe thing as soon as that came up. As soon as that came up, I thought of that. This is from a tabletop role-playing game monster manual called Veins of the Earth. Is my favorite. It's very good. It's very good. All right, time for part 2. This is a long one because this is a long monster. We can think of culture, the product of civilization, as a living thing, and consider the means of culture to seek its own survival. In a nightmare world of famine and infinite black, those means will include an intelligent freight train-sized centipede. There can be no museums underground, no good galleries. Large accumulations of wealth are only possible inside the pyramids of capital and military force that shell each city-state. The cities care only for themselves. Every civilized Veins culture is trapped in an invented schizoid history of the world, centered on itself. Each museum lies. Each gallery is trapped in slavish worship to a dictator or a decadent aesthetic cult. The only place in the Veins that culture could be preserved in this way is by something big, scary, violent, dangerous enough to keep it safe. The only way it could be culture worth preserving is if this predatory vortex of chitin and death also had truly excellent taste. The only way the culture could be true is if this freight train death machine was also militarily independent, politically neutral, and intellectually rigorous. It is a scavenger, predator, curator, aesthete, collector, a mass murderer, patron, gallery, library, museum, librarian, and a ride. It is all these things. It's a venomous Vatican City with fangs. Sometimes, Silent Veins wars escape their reigns. Immortal dynasties burn. 10 millennia old faiths can end in days, or hours. Cities die screaming underground. Just my mic. As armies leave the scene, the Civilopede arrives to hunt through the wreckage, discover and preserve the artifacts and records, and eat the survivors. A few librarians and archivists are spared. They enter into a symbiotic relationship with the Civilopede, becoming its backrigging teamster curators. These few govern the Canaanites. The Canaanites, evolved centipede parasites, half smart, hip high, pale yellow, semi-transparent, bipedal tick things. They talk intelligently about art and history. They explain why the Civilopede picks objects to collect, can give long, in-depth explanations about an artifact's aesthetic worth. Are wrong and have no idea they are wrong. They do not know why the Civilopede chooses things. They have no taste or individual perception of any kind, but can only explain the choices of others. They have no idea of this and will never have any idea of this. You can change their mind with some force in a charisma test. When changed, it was always this to them. You can persuade them, but you will never win. Canaanites and curators swarm on the Civilopede's back, arranging and rearranging the endless pile of art, artifacts, museum pieces, records, and writing and treasure. Anything you can find in a gallery, museum, archive, or library will be stored there. Its back looks like a long, linear, expansive city of tents. The tents are tapestries, piled up paintings, rugs, and fabric art. They burn on its back in a neon blur, a rainbow of flickering images in gold. Inside, things are strapped down and secured. The Civilopede curves, curls, dives, and rises in endless perambulations beneath the earth. It tries not to go upside down or underwater, but it will if it must. Oh, Egg! Hello, hello! How's it going, guys? How's it going? Welcome, welcome, everyone. Let me show it you. Let me show it you, Egg, real quick. One sec. Didn't expect to join a cult. Yes, we are reading. This is a cult. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. This is from the monster book Veins of the Earth. It is my favorite, and I'm having a reading stream today because it was requested, and I'm very excited. Egg, you're playing Crusader Kings 3. Very nice, very nice. Let me see. Let me finish this line real quick, and I will kind of catch you guys, all the raiders, up on what's going on. So strap in, get comfy. This is reading about gross monsters. The Civilopede is highly aware of whatever happens on its back. It is ambivalent about the deaths of replaceable personnel, upset by property damage, and enraged by fraud. It is sometimes amused by theft. It can curl over and gain access to any part of its back, except for the part just behind its head. Alright, so for raiders coming in, welcome everybody. I am Halbernacht. I am an elf that normally plays miniatures, and today I'm reading from Veins of the Earth, a monster manual by Patrick Stewart. No relation to the actor, by the way. This is, people just happen to have names. They're similar. I don't think I've ever properly explained what Veins of the Earth is, besides the fact that it's a Lamentations of the Flame Princess book. So the idea of Flames of the Earth is it is a monster manual specifically about underground horrors. Like, it is all the entire. It's part campaign setting, part monster manual, and part rulebook on how to run very brutal and very weird adventures deep underground, where instead of currency you trade oil and lanterns for money, because light is such an important resource. As soon as the light goes out, you basically die. And there's the horrors of just like navigating through a cave, climbing, just potentially getting separated from your party. Hal is also a very chill guide you can call daddy. I guess you can. If you want to call me daddy, that's fine. It's been a growing trend. It's a very interesting book, Nick. It's very interesting. It's one of my favorites. I have the physical copy that I've been banging against my table just to prove that I have a physical copy, and it's very good. Hal's best way. Oh, you guys are flattering me. So we have recently done the Angler Lich, which is a lich. It's a giant fish, interdimensional fish that pretends to be a lich to lure potential prey, and cameramen who are gooey, sad boys who basically are made to be stupid and to be bullied underground. And the Cephalopede, I really like the Cephalopede. I'm going to actually rank it above the cameramen. In particular, the thing I really like about the Cephalopede is that I feel like you could run a whole campaign based on it. For raiders who came in, the Cephalopede is a giant centipede that collects art and runs around through the tunnels of the underground. If you are an artist, it will consume you and put your art on its back, where it is preserved basically forever, with the idea that is, I will post a name as well. The idea is that the only way that art can survive down into darkness is that if a giant monstrous centipede protects it from harm. It's very cool. It's very cool. I really like it as a monster. It's super fun. So yeah, today's for people come in. Today is Domo Riga. Thanks. Today's a reading stream, but also too, it's also a little bit of a just like general tabletop stream. So if you guys ever have any questions about like tabletop role-playing games or card games or miniatures or whatever, or I just want to chat about some stuff, I got plenty of monsters to go, so we're not going to run out anytime soon. We're not going to run out anytime soon at all. But it's just sort of like I don't know. This is the first time I've done effectively a full-on reading stream. I've done little snippets. This is sort of I've been practicing for this. Practicing is, I guess, is also a strong word in this case, but it is. I've never done something like this before, and this is something that like I'm wanting to do more as a streamer and kind of branch out, figure out what I want to do. I want to incorporate more tabletop stuff into my streams, because that is sort of, it's unironically all my hobbies are my passions. Starting to become an ASMR artist, maybe. I don't know. If I give you guys the, what is it? Like, is the goal of ASMR even still about getting the tingles or whatever, or is it just about signing stuff? It's super fun to listen to. We support you. Oh, you guys are too much. You guys are too much. So kind, so sweet. Let me get the next monster out. This one is another more like low-level threat, but this is also one that might be another kind of in the pity cute monster category. Look at this little bud. This bud is a, let's see, it's about creating an atmosphere. Exactly. That, for me, the most powerful VTubers are the ones who can create like a good atmosphere to them. It is friend. Yes, this monster is friend shaped. This is the dead egg, or the pseudo oolite, and it is it's a tragic monster a little bit. It's a tragic monster, but I think this one could also be used in a lot of campaigns. I think there's a lot of potential there. Oh, Pig D20 knows about this one already. It is cute. It's cute. It's a cute monster, but it's sad. All right, so yes, let's explain. Let's explain. Here, I'll go ahead and post a name real quick too, so everyone knows. This is the dead egg, or the pseudo oolite. Here we go. His Echo's tail. He does have a big chunky tail. All right, here we see. Up. Let me zoom in a bit so I can read better. What's your thoughts on the rapper Little Darky? Listening. Little Darky. I have no idea. I don't really know much about rap, unfortunately. My taste in music is weird, I guess. I don't even know how to describe it. Like indie rock from like the early 2010s, Electric Six. I have to like list all my favorite musicians sometime. The only rapper I'm particularly super into is super into is a strong word, but I do like Viper the rapper. Soon I will try to contact them about the music commission. I'll listen to it. I do like Mori stuff. I do like Mori stuff quite a bit, actually. I do. My favorite song for her is Cursed Night. It is like a late, like when I'm coming back home from Magic and I'm just driving in my car. It's very relaxing. It's very peaceful. It's just like when it's like 11 p.m. and I'm just driving and the roads are empty and the lights are on. Ooh, oh crap! I just got an alert from Red. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the workshop. Yeah. Also, let me move my alert message because I don't want to block you guys at all. Let me pop that. We'll just put it like on my chest. You guys will be on my chest. When do you... Little Big Flappy, I looked during my karaoke stream. I looked, and there's no karaoke cover of "Y'all Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack." I wanted to so bad. I'm at the point between that and "Father of Death" by the Proto Men. I'm going to probably learn how to make karaoke tracks because I'm getting very salty that my niche ass taste in music isn't represented by karaoke. I'm so frustrated. I keep finding songs I want to sing, and then they're like, that's like, nah, I'm good, no thank. All right. So the dead egg, aka the pseudo oolite, disturb these pearls and find yourself an unwilling foster parent to the dead dragon fetus inside. When a pregnant dragon dies, the young starve in their eggs. Very occasionally, something bleak and awful seeks the corpse. It wants a toy, and finding one, cranks up wasted flesh with automatic fires. The moon-white eggs forgotten in the corpse-fat earth. The fetal wormlings curling in necrotic yolk stir. Cold miniature hearts flex. The eggs crack late and undergrown. Cold curls of baby lizard flesh poke through. They spew out from the grave nest in a snapping tangle, moving like a knotted pile of wet garden hose slopping down steps. The last thing they recall is starving to death inside. A dragon, even pre-birth, has the intelligence of a man. These undead, ever-starving children, genetically prepped for rapturous majesty, are unshaped by material experience. They are hungry, cannot eat, and cannot die. They wander in birth flocks, looking for something they cannot find and do not understand. Then they return to the egg. They do not understand the world. Rot has written invisible curls on their still developing brains. Their bodies are unripe. The egg is all they know. They crawl back inside and carefully rebuild the shell. This takes long weeks of agonized failures as they learn. But they have time. Infinite time. And nowhere else to go. They wait inside, sleepless and tense. Perhaps endless shiftings of the river pools remind them of their mother's heart. They don't feel cold. The thoughtless bubbling flow that gently and ceaselessly rocks them in the infinite night may fake a parent's touch, lulling them to the edge of unachievable sleep. Perhaps underground, nothing will bother or disturb them. Perhaps the cold, smooth oolites in the cave walls remind them of a nest they've never seen. But perhaps it is just possible that something places them there, a half-deliberate trap or lure, of what purpose no one knows. They crawl into the pools and river caves where oolites form, scattered amongst them and reassembled eggs, and wait until you disturb them. A swarm of necrotic ice-cold dragonlings, desperate for a parent and a meal. You will play one of these roles. They will instantly imprint on whoever they see first. They will follow you into darkness, climb upon you, rubbing their cold, rank scales against you, feeling a warmth they can never feel. They will watch you with keen, bright intelligence, learning and forgetting as their fetal, rotting minds decay. They are looking for a signal they cannot understand, a behavior they cannot adopt. The dead egg will track you like a parrot until you act like prey. Yeah, the source book is very dark. Sometimes it's more dark than other times, but this is definitely one of the sadder ones. Yeah, that's why I felt a little bad, because it is a very cute looking monster, and you're like, oh, it's a zombified fetal dragon that just wants a parent but doesn't know any better because its brain is rotting. It's very, very sad. It's a sad little bugger. And it's fun, like, not funny, this isn't the right word. So there's a bit more to this than just those. In particular, there's a chart called Dead Reactions. Can you help it? Is this about fetal dragons or millennials? Fucking, yeah. I know sometimes when I climb out of a bed, I'm like, I'm cold and clammy, and I don't know. I need warmth. Also, my brain's rotted. That explains. That's me. That's me. But yeah, I'm gonna also read from a table called Dead Reactions about them. Pig being savage. Pig's not that fun. Pig's not that fun. This is an open bully zone from both sides. If I can't receive bully, if people can't receive bully, can they truly dish it out? Can you truly know the pain of a good delivered bully unless you can actually like listen and accept it? It's good. It's a feeling. I'm starting to like turn into like my monster speak when I'm joking about bullies. Can you help it? So here's the thing. Do you have a full body reference? I do have a type of pants. Oh, good news. I've contacted my papa today, and he is going to start working on the official legs. But yeah, as far as pants go, I have a pants reference. I can drop that for you. Here, actually, let me drop that real quick in the Discord. Which, in case you want to go to the Discord, I got a Discord. Yeah, if you go to the, let me see. I'll put it in the art channel, the references I'm using for legs. And then that way it'll be there. But yeah, my papa said that he's going to start working on my version 2, so I'm very excited. I'm very excited. So that should cover that. Let me see. As far as can you help it? So here's the thing that I find very interesting. As a DM or slash GM, thank you. Yeah, no problem. It's easy peasy to do. So what I think is that depending on the mood of the campaign is whether you can help this creature. If the mood is to be somber, like just like infinite sadness in the cold dark, scraping for survival, I would say no, you can't help it. It is an unfortunate victim. It is a cruel twist of fate that made this undead fetal dragon creature. However, if the mood of the campaign, I would say if the mood's more like hopeful, like it's like, don't get me wrong, Veins of the Earth is a very dark book. It's usually very sad, but you can also, in my mind, you can use sadness to build upon. Like, I think you can sometimes like set sadness against hope in a campaign, like not to go full grim dark, to be like the I think if I've heard it called like noble dark, the idea that's like the world is shit, things are dark, everything's out to get you, but there's like that spark of hope, the like inherent like purity of the heart that keeps striving forward. So I'd say in like that kind of campaign, I would say that would be one that you could probably like heal it. You could maybe like work with a god to kind of bring it back, or like give it alchemical reagents to try to repair its dying brain while you look for a more permanent solution. Personally, like I run campaigns more like the latter than the former. So I would say for my campaigns, yes, this creature could be saved, but I would make it difficult. What I would say, I would make it like, if you wanted to save this creature, it would be part of your story. It would be part of the like greater campaign to fix it, and then I would work with the player to make that happen. Because if someone, especially too, as a game master, if someone latches onto something in my setting, anything at all, NPC, weapon, type of magic, location, even, I will work with that player and I will make that a more prominent element. That's my favorite thing. Daddy, help me save our baby. I hope my baby doesn't look like that. I hope it's more elf shaped in general. But yeah. But like when players latch onto stuff in my campaigns, that's usually when I'm like, this is important to them, and I want to facilitate this. As an example of this, I know Yoro has a thing for DILFs, which is why they keep coming up in my vampire campaign. It sounds dumb, but like playing to what your players are into and what they respond to is such an important part of having a good game. Because like everyone can run Goblin Murder Simulator, but if you can really like build player investment and really get them locked in, I think that's a super important thing to do. I think that's super powerful, and I think that's what makes campaigns really memorable. And even like if you think about like campaigns like the ones that like genetics between species can end up with, I guess that's true. I also consume a lot of chemicals, so on accident in my workshop. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll work out. I don't know. So let's see. As far as the Oolite goes, I think this is another good one. It's weird because I'm kind of just saying the newest monster is always my favorite. It's not necessarily gonna be true, but I do think this one has a lot of potential. I also think that this one's unique and that a lot of these campaigns, yeah, you never go full magical realm. I mean, I would never go full magical realm, but it's one of those things that if your entire party is on board, then it's not magical realm. For people who don't know the idea of a magical realm, the joke idea behind that is someone's trying to insert their like fetish into a campaign and no one else is really on board. So the idea, it's like everyone's playing regular D&D and someone's like, oh, my beautiful elven druid and her feet are going to step all over the grass, and oh, I cast spells with my feet, and whenever I describe my character, it's never about like my eyes or my magic or about my backstory. I go into a lot of detail about my feet. Like that's like a magical realm thing. That's when everyone's like, all right, Terry, back it the fuck up. What's the example in the comic? I think it's Dave. There's a good Casey Green comic that kind of introduced the concept, and then the concept's been around forever, but like codifying it as magical realm was in that comic. I think was sort of when that kind of came to. I think. My Casey Green lore is very weak. Welcome back, comic. Kami, how'd you do on your test? Yeah, the wizard, exactly. It's from that comic. Yeah, Kami, how'd the exam go? We just got done reading about fetal dragons. Fun. It's fun. Fun fetal dragons. In the meantime, I will prepare. You did pretty well? Fuck yeah, that's good to hear. That's what I like to hear. Yeah. Uh-oh. That's a good score. That's a good score, especially for like college stuff. I think that's a good score. Good job, Kami. Good job. You can celebrate by we will continue to talk about we're talking about magical realms. Care to join us, Kami? I can't do a wink because I linked both my eyes because there was issues with VTube Studio. I'll show Kami our baby. I don't know if this is our baby. This is a weird fetal dragon, but that's the pseudo Oolite that I mentioned. And then we're going to do the next monster. This monster is also a warning for everyone. All these monsters are very brutal, except for basically the Cambermen. The Cambermen were like the palate cleanser that I think we ate the palate cleanser too early. And see, this is like, so normally Scrap Princess does very rough, sketchy, but this is almost like a X-ray of a like water bear or like some kind of microscopic like tick creature that I find the art is very beautiful. All right, here we go. This monster is called the Eigengrowl. Once again, I'm probably going to butcher this name. Just because my name Halbernacht sounds like German does not mean I know German. But I believe this is German. All right, so this is the Eigengrowl. Skin-eating dementia pillars. The Eigengrowl are carnivorous, otter-sized, stealth predators, caterpillars that eat your skin and spit out your eyes. They lair in a haze of corrupted thought. They are midnight black and make no sound. Only the slow munching of mouthparts as they wind around the victim, chewing troughs of skin from living flesh. If you ever see it, the closest resemblance is a wreath of black roses, curled in moonlight with dew pearls beating on the thorn tips. Ridiculously big. The dew points are neurotoxin. It functions as a gas. If you can see it, it's too late, which means you won't remember it. No one remembers the Eigengrowl, what it looks like, where it lives, how it hunts, or why it kills. Oh, Kami, we're particularly talking about that comic. Don't you worry. So, Poltergeist, enjoy your food. It's all good. They know something is there. Something cunning, invisible, untraceable, and evil. They see its nature through a pattern of events. You'll smell your childhood memories as it hunts you down. Childhood summers, old rooms, lovers, your mother's skin. All the sense-locked streams of remembered dreams. The Eigengrowl smells like your parents or your home. You smell this because the toxic mist of the Eigengrowl is snipping at your neural web. It's cutting threads like a stroke victim smelling fire. Your recall of your past is damaged. Being around the Eigengrowl is damaging you. Its lair is a fairy tale. Strings and balloons of green-yellow light are hung in maze knots. Pale, liquid bioluminescence wound in puzzle tree suspension bridge curves. Sausage dog lantern strings. A beautiful, entrancing web. There are sourceless trickles of blood on the floor and blurred red prints from naked running feet. The strings of light are human guts, long intestines, emptied of shit and filled with glowing eyes. The lights are walls of shadow. Being midnight black doesn't help much underground. The Eigengrowl need shadows to hide. It makes them with light. The strung up lights are the walls of our chiaroscuro shadow labyrinth. Only spies, sophists, and radical freaks walk into an underground wonderland and deliberately look into the dark. Within its shadow maze, the Eigengrowl has hidden as a thief. If seen, it has armor as plate and shield. If the mace is destroyed or the Eigengrowl somehow removed, its armor drops it out of leather. A darkness spell will be more effective than a light spell. Remember, the Eigengrowl hides in shadow, not in darkness. They are not always the same. Yes, both of you guys, welcome back with the food. Sorry, I just read about a caterpillar that ripped skin off. Let's see. It does. We were talking specifically about that comic and like how most people aren't into magical realms. So don't you worry. No yellow liquids were mentioned at all, at all. So yeah, this is the Eigengrowl. It is a very brutal monster in particular, like very stealthy, very skin rippy. I think a lot of it, the visuals, I think really kind of draw me to this one. It's I think this would be like a good encounter, but definitely like a, I don't know, because like the challenge rating of the hit dice is 5. You gotta go, wait for the food. Oh, it's all good, it's all good, it's all good. I'll be doing this for quite a while. I don't know, we're talking about a very difficult, this magical realm is apparently a magical realm of death, apparently. I said apparently twice, whatever. What does Eigengrowl mean? I don't know. If I had to bet, I bet it's probably something like Darkness Grub or something like that. I bet if I Google the word Eigen, nope. Google. All right, I'm going to use not Google, so I'm going to use divination magic. Well, it's characteristic. So characteristic and then growl. Maybe let's find out. Let's see what growl means. Grau with an umlaut. Google. Sorry, I'm using magic here. Okay, when I say I'm using magic, is I'm actually using Google. I can't legally say that I'm using spells, or else the guild is going to get uppity. But I do use divination magic more at work, but that's the magical realm. No, Kami. We were specifically talking about that KC Green comic with the wizard. Don't you worry. I know of that comic very well. I think anyone who's been involved in role-playing games for a long time has read that comic at some point. I think like especially if you're going back into tabletop RPGs, at least maybe like, when did that comic come? I want to say almost like probably like borderline like 8 to 10 years ago. It's been a while. Google is pretty magical. When it works, it's definitely magical. I agree. That's true. Magic for dummies. I am dummy. Dummy thick. Alright, where did I put the Eigengrowl? I think the Eigengrowl is a cool monster, but I'm gonna put it in the same category as the Angular Lich. Where I think it's more interesting as a thing to read, and I wouldn't necessarily want to make the players fight for that. I might start bumping these up. So this is sort of like different, I don't know what tiers these are yet. I'm not going to say this is like S tier, A tier, B tier. This is just entirely on feeling. Also, real quick, it is getting very chilly where I'm at, so almost I'm going to turn that down. It's just going to my AC, don't worry. I'm still in the room. I'm just going over here. Turning off my air conditioner, because I'm so cold. Alright, here we go. I put my headphones on. I saw a little like increment for people coming in the stream go up when I was doing the terrible singing. So I'm sorry in advance, people coming in to me doing whatever the fuck that song was. All right, I sing a lot of dumb songs to myself when I'm just going around the house. Who would you date tier? Ooh, I guess out of all these, I think the cameramen are the only ones you could date without like your skin sloughing off. Like they're so ineffectual. It'd be just like hugging a sponge, which I mean is not exactly like the most date worthy, but like I like to not die. All right, here we go. What's coming up next? What's coming up next? Oh, we're going to be doing fossil vampires. And you think vampires would be sexy, but fossil vampires are not. Not at all. They're very... actually, if you saw on Twitter, by the way, if you guys have not seen my Twitter, I have a Twitter where it's... generally, if you want to keep track of my Twitter for like updates and whatnot, I would recommend doing that. Yeah, these are fossil vampires. Let me get the picture. I will show you guys. They're very... this is the one I use as like the reference image for the Twitter alerts. Let me see. Let's put that's the name. Just fossil vampire. Nothing too wild with this one. Fossil vampire. Yeah, here we go. And like, look at this fun bud. Look at this chompy lad. Look at this sexy motherfucker. This is pure spice. This is all your typical dreamy vampire boys right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is your fossilized Edward Cullen. Are you happy? Are you happy? Looks like a doodle. And this is kind of the scrap princess, where she can do very beautiful works of art, but sometimes she just gets really like scribbly. And I like both, but definitely sometimes the scribbly art. No, this is not scribble. This is not sparkle at all. He is giving me a lot of emotion. Also, Glowzilla, hello. This is Nosferatu's wife. Nosferatu. Yeah. All right. So let's do the fossil vampire. Here we go. This one, I really like the implications of the description. This is one that I think is like cool setting data. Are these Defia? I have no idea what that is, Gail, but hello. Let me Google that word. I like to semi-serious. Hello. How's it going? This is like drug monsters. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if this is oh, I see what you mean now. Okay. Now these are, I think, from what I can tell, the dude who makes these is fully sober. He's just kind of a sad dude. I love Patrick Stewart, but his blog posts are usually pretty depressing. What's the niche of this particular vampire subspecies? You will see. But also, yeah, once again, semi-serious nerd and Gale. Welcome. All right, here is the fossil vampire. Caving about the Underworld Seraphon. Fuck yeah! All right, the Underworld Seraphon's a really good warband, honestly. Like for people who are looking just at getting something small into Warhammer, all the Underworld's warbands are pretty good deals. Actually, you get a lot of very good sculpts, and it's relatively cheap. Kind of, that's a stretch, but also you get a game out of it too, which is fun. All right. Wrap on the book. It is time for the fossil vampire. They come out crawling. They judder and fall like an old man escaping from a crashed car, but fast, like skipping low-res recordings. It leaps, but it has forgotten how to stand. The shaking steps collapse, the fossilized stone skeleton of a Precambrian vampire. Cracked and deranged by its entombment, the skull is twisted in a munch-scream warp. Its eyes burn with an ancient second night, ultraviolet coronal rings that hang on eclipsed moons. Limbs rolled and bent in sedimentary stones. The ghost of opalized organs, moon-white in central mass, shining pyritized teeth, soil and ash falling from its joints like rain. Utterly, totally insane. If it pulls off parts of your flesh, it may stop to rub the meat scraps over its face with shaking hands. They don't regenerate anymore. The flesh is stone and it won't grow back. They will cover themselves in blood. Sorry, page skip. They will cover themselves in blood and scraps of flesh, then stick on coins and metal shards and scraps of remarkable rocks, pebbles, and shells. Curls of white calcite to blindly remake themselves with mortarized blood. Vampires cannot die. Long ago they infested the world. When day came, they swarmed under the soil like worms, shifting in bait. There was never enough space. The weak were thrust up through the topsoil into the sunlight to die. Their ash made thicker soil to save the rest. At sunset, the land heaved and vomited out continents of pale, writhing undead. They killed everything. They ate all living things. They fed off each other, unable to die and afraid to walk into the sun. No one knows how, but in a single day they were destroyed. The world turned inside out. They were burnt, buried, and eaten by angry tectonics, frozen in stone, fossilized and crushed. Most were torched by unknown cosmic fire, but the ash clouds exploded so fast that large pockets remain. They are still there. There is a vampire stratum, a thin band of shadow in the rock, 2 feet thick, coal black. No one minds it. They go around. If you disturb or encounter a fossil vampire, roll 1d4. This many vampires emerge. If the total is 4, roll a d6 and add this many vampires. If the total is 6, roll a d8. Carry this up on the dice chain. When you run out of dice, start simulating higher numbers with dice you have. There is, in theory, no end to this progression. You may awaken the whole stratum. All right, that's the fossil vampire. This is one of the idea of the monster just gives me pure game master juice. This is so almost as old as Marie. Yeah, second 17 like 8,000 season. This is ooh, Halbernacht. Ooh, semi-serious. Would you prefer? Yeah, would you like bunny form or would you like cat form? You have a choice. I should really differentiate. I should really add extra stuff in there. Cat. All right. I'll go to the changing menu, and while I'm morphing the cat ears, but yeah, just the idea that there's just like the idea of like there's certain phrases that hit me and when I read role-playing game books, there's phrases that just hit me and just like concepts that just stick with me, and this is one of them that's just locked in. The idea of like a whole tectonic layer of like calcified vampires. Like for me, that's such a powerful concept. As I'm there we go. There we go. Let's go back. Yay, I'm back. But it's so good. It's such a rad concept indeed. The idea that like that you could hit that. Are these hard to kill? Let me look at the stats officially. I don't think each one is particularly strong. Let me see. Let me check out how many hit dice they got. Each one's got about 3 hit dice. So I think in D&D turns, these are like an ogre worth of strength. But the thing is, you fight them in groups of 3, which means like an ogre, like 4. It's like you fight in groups of 4. Like 4 ogres, 1d4 ogres are pretty strong. And the fact that you can spill into like 20 something is very lethal. Especially because I'm pretty sure Veins is like I think a lot of the earlier editions of D&D and 5th edition have a lot more reasonable armor class ramps. That's always something that I really disliked about Pathfinder 2, 4th edition, and 3.5 edition, is that after a while, the armor class values scale to the point where you can't really reuse old monsters. For people who aren't super familiar with the Dungeons and Dragons, armor class is effectively the value you roll to hit. There's also Thaco, but I'm not going to talk about that because that's a bunch of grog nonsense that doesn't need to be brought right this second. The idea is that basically for modern games, the higher the number, the harder it is to hit monster with sword. And some variations of D&D basically have that that value keeps scaling. What it does, it means that like the idea is that like your regular goblin. Oh god, I thought it was actually not that hard, but the thing is, it's been literally years since I last used it when I was part of a Labyrinth Lords campaign. So it's the only campaign I've ever been in to use Thaco. And I'm not like one of those people like, oh, Thaco sucks. It's just more like it's like a little unintuitive. It's not the worst. It's not the worst, but there's a reason why they ditched it. It wasn't worth keeping it around. But yeah, basically in a lot of stuff like Pathfinder 2 has like armor class that scales with the player's level. So you run into instances where oh god, Thaco. To give a brief summary is that the way armor class, you know how the way armor class kind of scales up? Like Thaco was the initial variant of armor class where you kind of roll in reverse and like things will make that number harder to hit. It'll be like a lower number is generally better. Rolling reverse is confusing for me. I play AD&D. Yeah, I know a lot of people kind of like latch onto it because like that's one of those big kind of like filter points where they're like, oh, you don't know what Thaco is, get the fuck out of my hobby. And I mean, people are allowed to have that opinion, but like for me, Thaco is like not a hill worth dying on. There's so many other cool concepts from older D&D I'd rather people know. Like I'd rather people talk to me about like stuff they like about like Modrons or like Planescape or like Miss Star. Talk to me about older settings. Don't bitch about older mechanics. That's sort of my thought. It's not worth it. But anyway. I'm gonna actually. I mean, the thing. This is kind of a general tabletop stream, effectively, more of the chatting side. But I'm gonna put this guy right up here at the Oolite. Maybe. Let me see. It's eventually gonna. I have to figure out what I'm gonna do with this tier list. Maybe what I'll do. Let's make him smaller. You can tell I did not design to stream in mind with this, but probably what I will do is that actually after this, I would love to keep a continuous tier list of all the because I have other monster books I like to read from. I even have like a couple that are actually officially Dungeons and Dragons. Like I love what is it? The Fiend Folio from 3.0/3.5 I think is a really good monster book. There's some real good stuff in there like Chaordy, Ether Gaunts, stuff like that. I think they're good. I think they would be worth showing. Don't step the Lady of Pain. Yeah, I will agree with that. I'll agree with that. So for people who don't know, the Lady of Pain is like the best way to describe Lady of Pain is that she is a mechanism in the Planescape campaign setting to allow a multiplanar city where you can run into like demons and angels and stuff, and where like all out chaos isn't just in the streets. So some people get upset with the Lady of Pain because the idea is like it's a monster and I've been told I can't kill it. This is Dungeons and Dragons. I am upset by this. I should be allowed to kill everything. And for me, killing her is kind of pointless. Like you can go into your campaign and you can say, oh yeah, you can kill a Lady of Pain because like tabletop role-playing games, you can do whatever. I could run an entire session where everyone's cats. It doesn't matter. No one can stop me. But personally, I feel like the Majesty of the Lady of Pain. She is in Planescape. She is a floating being with like a mask of blades, and she just kind of moves around. Zet, hello, how's it going, Zet and crew? How's it going? Let me shut you out, Zet. Let's see, Guardian Zet. Here we go, playing Near Replicant version 1.12247487139. Cat camp. There's a tabletop setting involving cats. If I remember, I forget what the game is called, but the idea is that everyone's playing a cat, and the idea is that you can hunt ghosts because cats can see ghosts and humans can't, and that's why cats are so skittish. Get beaned! I'm getting beaned tonight. How's it going, everyone, though? I am Halbernacht the Elf. I normally do painting streams, but today I'm doing something real spicy. I am doing, Mouse Guard. Mouse Guard's such a fun setting. I have the Mouse Guard book. I would love to run Mouse Guard. Maybe sometime. Now that I am slowly bullying VTubers into playing games that I've always wanted to play, I want to do that. Stockshot. I've actually had a really cool idea for a maid campaign. What I really for like a maid one shot. I want to get like a bunch of like real masculine, like manly VTubers together. I want to get like, I know Randon's into tabletop games, Congo, a couple of other ones like that, real tough dudes, and I want them to play maid together. I want to do that. I want to do that so bad. I want that delicious contrast. I think that'd be fun. Yeah, Warhammer is my jam as well. Project DERP derp. I typically play more Age of Sigmar, but in 40k, so armies, Skaven, Maggotkin of Nurgle, Slaves of Darkness in Age of Sigmar. In 40k, I do Death Guard. I think Congo would nail it, honestly. Exactly. It's that. It's like real dude VTubers, real dude tubers, tough guys. Oh fuck yeah! I'll put you in, Zet. I'll put you in. You are the rippest. You are the badassest halfling I know. Death Guard brother. Fuck yeah indeed. I love anything Nurgle because I just love the mutations. I love Nurgle. I love Nurgle so much. Let's see, that made. Let me write that on my list. I have a list of VTubers I would like to invite to campaigns and stuff. So I'll put you in there, Zet, because I think you're cool. Tyranids are also cool. I would love Tyranids. I would love them so much. But yeah, I love Papa Nurgle loves all of his children. Indeed. But for people coming in, may Scar Blacks bless your stream. Oh, Valis is more corn. Interesting. I would have not taken you as a corn dude for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, for tonight, I am reading excerpts from the Monster Manual Veins of the Earth. It is a Lamentations of the Flame Princess campaign / monster book, and these are spooky underground monsters for sad times, and I'm doing some readings from that. We had just finished the Fossilized Vampire when you guys came in. I'll go ahead and just make this big boy big. And the concept of this is that in prehistory, vampires covered the planet, were driven underground. A rain of ash had sealed them into the earth, where they became a stratified layer of the tectonic, like of the earth tectonics. And that if you mine too deep, you might awaken an entire like layer of calcified vampires, which is so cool. Which is so cool. Spooky Precambrian vampires, indeed. It's super cool. I love this book so much, you guys. This is unironically, this is my favorite role playing game book. Oh, but it's much more than a cave vampire. It's the idea of a vampire that's like a whole wave of cave vampires. It's so good. It is very unga bunga, yeah. And the idea that when it feeds on you, it will just cover itself in your blood and try to mash on coins and stuff because it doesn't know how to. It can't drink anymore. It's a vampire that's forever thirsty, forever fossilized. Forever. Oh god, I got reminded of this like really cursed internet image I don't really want to mention right now because it's so cursed. Let me get this. The next guy up. This will be the Ulm, and this is where I said this is probably the one that's most. Let me see. Hopefully this isn't too TOS. They did some really fun stuff where they actually like integrated the creature within the text. So this should be fun. This should be forever thirsty. They're like me. Socks, like you were identified with these animals way too much. Eternal thirst. Yeah, dude, this is this book is pretty metal. This book is pretty metal. It is also very dark. So if you guys are into dark sadness times, this next monster isn't too bad. This will ramp you in. The one after it is actually very sad. It's a very sad. But this is the Ulm. This is like when you guys were joking about which monster is probably the sexiest. This is probably it. It's got that like I know some people are thirsty for Slender Man. It's kind of like if Slender Man was an axolotl, and I think some people would probably be into that. I think that's a thing people are into. Ooh, let me see. Oh, this has a lot of text actually. Let me see. Where will I stop on here? Here we go. Just thirsty, yeah. Have you looked into the Grim Hollow Monster Grimoire? I had that pulled up. I haven't gotten a chance to give it a good look yet, though. Look at that tall boy bites up her lips. No. I mean, if you guys are into tall boys, I'm 6'1". That's a thing I got going on. But this is a different kind of tall boy. So we were reading about the Ulm. We're reading about the Ulm. So let's. I'm gonna ease in. Here we go. Stick. Yeah, very stick. I now want Hal to make me drink the water. Drink the water, Stockshot. Drink the water. Drink it. Hydrate. All right. Oh, I need to make the text a bit bigger. You can tell this is my first reading stream, so this is a learning experience to a certain degree. Their faces are blank, eyeless, and beautifully shaped. Red vertical nose slits shiver open when they leave the water. Almost lipless mouths that gulp a centimeter, showing sharp pinwheel teeth and iridescent pink tongues. A beauty that is not spoken of by those who recognize it. Their bodies weave endlessly like slow sine waves from a dreamy mind. They appear to drift, but they can feel movements in the air. Their faces and bodies thick with invisible hypersensitivity. Virtually human, the species is only 1 million years old. Cave salamander people. Long white bodies, 7 feet tall and slender as a child. You could almost fit your hands around their waist. Elongated limbs with small, childlike, 3-fingered hands. Bright, vibrant gill tufts like rosehead ruffs. Elizabethan punks, slender tails. As you swing your weapons towards them, they drift aside, like being impossibly dodged by an old man. But if you can see, you have the advantage. When they slip into the water, it's like gifting them an extra sense. The whole wrap of stream around them becomes another organ of discovery. They have the same intelligence and emotional complexity as humans, but shaped by a dark world of endless famine and braille-wise counterculture of ultrasensory contemplation. They know what sight is, and they are not stupid. They think about it in the same way you and I think about Allen keys or fish knives. Clearly very useful in a highly limited set of circumstances, but a bitch to carry around with you and a poor use of resources. Weapons. All weapons are almost all bone and stone. Clubs, picks, and short swords are common. Slings are common. Spears are rare. Experienced warriors may carry scissorfish knives or mantis shrimp swords. Chiefs and shamans may carry toe-wrapped shells, Alkian ruffs, Gegeshin cloaks. They may have named weapons made from the bones and teeth of ancient high-level heroes. Cannibalism. If you die around the Olm, they will eat you. The only difference is how. Food burial. They will strip out the muscle and fat, crack the crack the large bones for marrow, leave the face and nervous system alone. The remains arranged in a regular way and left for scavengers, some distant from the camp. This is the process for powerful animals or people they don't know. Well, it's literally nothing personal. It's nothing personnel, kid. I can't see the word nothing personal without that. Yeah, scissorfish. So I don't think they ever described scissorfish. I think it's just the idea they want you to like imagine it, just kind of just like drink in the thought of it. Eaten with hate. If the Olm dislikes you, they will make a mess of your remains. They will eat less of you in this case, but will leave noticeable bite marks and chewed extremities to illustrate that not eating all of you was a choice and not a necessity. This shows informational dislike for a troublesome or frustrating prey or an irritating person. The uneaten dead. If Olm hates you, if they regard you as disgusting if regard you as disgusting of beyond contempt, they will actually leave you intact. Single visible bites are left to illustrate they won the fight but chose to leave the meat. In extreme cases, tools are left behind at a significant loss to the tribe, and anti-trophy showing loathing. Ooh, I think it's just this OLM. Yeah, OLM, I forgot to paste that earlier. And then eaten with respect. For friends or those potent in life, you are joined and carefully laid out, body pattern left intact. You are shared between the party or the tribe. Stories are told of your life and death. Those eating hope to keep your qualities. Fingerbone memento mori are retained in those hopes. Fingerbone memento mori are retained in hopes the spirit follows. A warrior's bones are turned to named weapons. Remains are surrendered to the strongest rapids or a potent nearby beast. And then the final entry for being eaten. Eaten as a god. This is really the gold standard so far as being cannibalized goes. Your brains will be eaten by the upper caste, the body carefully shared by all. Parents will make sure their children get some of your potent flesh. Every part possible made into tools and weapons. Your skull and even face will be preserved in a hidden place known to the Olm. This takes your name from that point on. Your spirit will be there and the Olm will seek you for advice and help. You are now a kind of petty god to the Olm. It could be worse. Sometimes people don't understand when an Olm is shouting that they will never eat you. That's really bad. And when they're promising to eat you as a god, it's almost kinda good. Waiting. Olm are always hungry and there's never enough. They can pause their metabolism and go for many years without food. Secret hidden streamways of black, barely moving water and flat pools hold the surplus population. Cold. Still. Almost undulating bodies lie beneath the surface, face up, swaying slowly in the flow. They can wait for decades, perhaps centuries. Down here, and clan members swap out in shifts. This means Olm can live around 1,000 years, with the majority of its time spent waiting. Olm have a different understanding of history. Children can be raised by their great-grandparents, who remember talking to their great-great-grandparents. The result is that Olm culture remembers for a long time. Once you have a reputation with them, it tends to stick. Civilized races talking to them don't quite get this and think the Olm are just being weird, dreamy, and ethnic because they don't know how time works. They aren't. When one says they met your hero king, your hero legend king, they mean they actually met them or know someone who did. They have a disturbing tendency to refer to legendary figures like they come from down the road. Because they have a lot of people on ice, the Olm population is significantly bigger than anyone quite realizes, often 10 times as big. This explains why organized people have stopped trying to wipe them out. For guerrilla threats, Olm pretend to fight hit and run guerrilla style, but if a war becomes too large, they wake up the family and come back with 10 times the numbers, and a terrifying depth of strategic knowledge. Of course, all these Olm need to be fed before they sleep again. The Olm population is actually increasing. Unlike every other Vane's culture, Olms do not practice population control. Slowly but surely they are running out of places to bank the sleepers. If they were to all wake at once, they would need an astonishing amount of protein to go back to sleep. Olmar Echo's race confirmed. Kinda, there's a lot of eating, going on. But yeah, Olm. I really like the Olm. The Olm are interesting because they're just another sapient species that's just alien enough to be like not a standard like fantasy troll, orc, elf, goblin, whatever. But they're also like human enough that you can kind of understand. Like sometimes people go too far into making other species too alien, and then they just can totally lose all qualities to grapple onto. I think the Olm is a good balance. So it's like they're strange, they're weird, they're watery. They focus on cannibalism, but at the same time, like you can bargain with them. They're smart. They can talk to people. They're diplomatic, which is something I really like. They are really unique. Yeah, they have like a nice feel to them. They're also another one. I'm gonna put this in my top category because I feel like for Ulm, you could include them in a multitude of campaigns. It doesn't even have to be an underground one. You could have a purely aquatic, like if you want to replace like your stereotypical like merfolk in a setting with the Ulm, I think that would be a marked improvement. There'd be a lot more going on there. It'd be more than just like underwater people. There's a lot you can do with them, so that's why I'm putting them so high. I think they're very unique. I really like them. I really like them. Let me get some drink real quick. Oh, good stuff. Today I'm drinking more Spindrift sparkling water unsweetened lemonade. This is good. This is strawberry lemonade. Because I'm doing this because I'm cutting back on sugar because I'm trying to be a good boy. Maybe I'm words with the what's the chewinga? I am not familiar with the chewinga. Let me look that up real quick. Let's see. Yeah, that middle ground is great. They're alien familiar. Yeah, exactly, Piggy Toy. You got. Yeah, they are. Everyone will get them, but they will kind of like. They're just different enough that like you could get into an incident with them. I think would be a good way to kind of put them in a campaign. Like I could see a campaign where like a noble hero like here's like a situation I can think of for the Ulm. No Dr. Pepper. I love Dr. Pepper's legitimately my favorite cola, especially cherry Dr. Pepper, but I had to cut it out because I'm trying to be good. Trying to be good. That's what the art reminds you of. Let me see. Chewinga. Oh, it does kind of look like that. Yeah, actually, I see the resemblance. I think it's especially the lack of a face that's really strong there. But as far as like putting a Ulm in a campaign or just like in a game, I think like you could do a scenario where like a important person goes to the Ulm lands and say, let's say that person dies of a like a non-murderous complication, like they have like a heart attack or something, or they die of disease, or like they just accident happens, but they were really good to the Ulm, so like people from the kingdom come to pick them up, or the kingdom or something, people from somewhere come to pick up the body, but at this point the Ulm have already cannibalized them and have like enshrined the head, and like people wouldn't be down for that, but for the Ulm, it's considered a great honor. So there's that like cultural tension, and you could be like, do the PCs, do they work for one side or the other? Are they trying to bridge the gap? Are they trying to break in and steal the head back? That would be interesting. There's a lot you could do there. It's a very open-ended scenario. I think you could do a lot with it with the Ulm, which is why I'm putting some high. Exactly, like the Swangan are pretty stabby, angry fish dudes. There's not a lot. There's not a lot there. You could do a lot of. You could do diplomacy with the Ulm, and you could do quite a bit with them. But there's also that threat too that like in this scenario, let's say it was like a full-on kingdom, and like that was like I don't know. Let's say that person that died was the prince. The Ulm have eaten the prince because he was a cool dude and he was a good diplomat to them. But at this point, they're sending armed forces to pick up his body, and the Ulm are starting to wake up. And there's so many Ulm that if they let all the Ulm wake up, the kingdom is going to be just fucking flattened. And the party needs to de-escalate the situation before it gets worse. I think there's some good stuff in there. I think there's some real good stuff in there. All right, let's go to the next monster. Though. Let's go to the next monster. Take it out of my bookmarks. Let's see what is the next? Oh, the Psychomycosis Megaspores. This is another sad monster. This is a monster that's very cool. It is not. It's gonna be very dark. Let's see. Oh, what did I just do? Oh no, I just messed up my I do that? Size. There we go. I was fucking around with my PDF reader and then I accidentally went too far. Here we go. There we go. This is a very cool looking monster. Let's get those feels out. You know, it's feel time. It's time to cry. You can cry together, everyone. It's so good. We got this. I'm here. You're here. Ooh, halfway there to the Nanners Club. Fuck yeah. I'm so excited. I love that you guys are so into that. It makes me really happy that you love my snake as much as I love my snake. All right, let's get the desktop. Here we go. Hal, hold me while I cry. Okay, Stock Shock, I got you there. I'm having too much fun with this. Alright, let me get this going. Yep. So this is the Psychomycosis Megaspore. That is like a human body with the... Oh yeah, I should write the name. I should give you guys the name before I go too deep in the monster. Especially if you want to... If people are at home or taking notes, the thirst... Poltergeist, the thirst returns implies that Sock Shock is ever not thirsty. The thirst is always there. She just hides it better sometimes. Some kind of mushroom. This is some kind of mushroom. Yeah, this is... It's a bit more than just a mushroom though. We'll find out. We'll find out. These are... Once again, I said these are very sad monsters, and we'll find out. We'll find out why. We'll find out why together. You guys ready? You guys ready to get on the sad train? You ready for it? Here we go. Let me take a drink first. I'm gonna crack open another cold one. Here we go. Once again, by cold one, I mean fucking lemonade. Because I'm a pansy baby. Same though. Yeah, I have tissues on hand. Everyone got your tissues ready. This is for tears though. These tissues are for tears. Here we go. The thirst is unquenchable. Alright. There are people there. They hang around milling vaguely like street kids, then slope towards you like urban roughs crossing a busy road. Slowly lopping with dropped shoulders, spore heads swinging gently from side to side. There are things on their heads. They look like grim disco people, if witnesses knew what disco was. The spore is basketball-sized and round. It flexes slightly, tremors invisibly and frighteningly quick as microspurts of desperate growth run through, like a cell dividing in a scope. It's greeny grass blue with big, thick wine bottle bottom lenses, making up tessellated skin. The cell wall is transparent, opalescent, bioluminescent in the dark. Though why, no one can tell. It eats the eyes in the skull so it cannot see through those. They glow vaguely green. The floating pre-spores bang around the cavern roof like lost balloons. They do not glow. They make no sound. You will not see them unless you are looking for them. As the walking spores attack, they drop silently upon you. The spore comes down over your head like a diving helm. You drown in toxic psychotropic goo. It eats the flesh in your head, muscles, skin, lips, and eyes. Dissolves much of the meat in the brain, but leaves a neuronal web. It picks you up and makes you walk. Looking at the skull that tops the staggering form, absorbing through the green-blue glass, you see teeth, a halo of them bobbing in the thick dissolve. Sometimes a jawbone joins them. Sometimes it slips, like a splinter that's ejected from the flesh. You see it sticking out, half bare and yet to fall away. The teeth surround the empty skull, dancing in the white neuronal smoke. Your nerve connections web released from flesh and spilling from the bone, but still hooked upon, expanding in the dusky oil. The endlessly deflated, unbreathing lungs quiver and flex. They don't need air, but the body doesn't know and keeps sending spital signals to breathe. The collapsed chest gives little heaves, and the lower throat makes drowning sounds. Sometimes bubbles of air fish tank up out of the neck and flow around this floating skull. The bad air builds up into spore top before exhaling with the smell of death before flexing bile lenses. So it staggers towards you and beats you to death, then drags your body to some secret place and dumps it with the rest, then watches and watches and watches while you rot. The adults don't seem very interesting, but someone has found a use for the spore. It has a talent for tongues. If you force a smaller spore over the head of a pet, say a dog, something low and controllable, it can be harnessed and trained. The spore will eat the flesh, but the mix of unknown soup and neuronal skeletal web grows babble skills. It can understand any spoken language. However, it cannot speak. It can only sign with the limbs the original animal had. The apes have proven too difficult to control. A spore left on an adult humanoid body is a violent killer, attacking everything it can see, dragging the bodies to a secret place. Someone found a different way. They used a child. Around the age of 8 is best. You'll need the parents' consent. Kill the child by drowning it in the spore. As the creature eats, have the mother whisper and hold. She can persuade the spore not to eat the eyes. If the child truly loved its parents, the resulting spore slave zombie thing will carry vestigial loyalties in the spinal cord. It can hear, and it can move. It will have eyes to read, and it can sign its reading. The spore child understands any language. Rulers trust the spore translations. They are fast, reliable, and utterly loyal. They can crack any cipher or code, and even detect secret intent in the text. They find hidden enemies this way, and all rulers in the veins know hidden enemies are all around. But the spore child lies. It seeks the death of nations. Every word is tilted, imperceptibly wrong. The speaking of the spore breeds war, slowly seeded and tended over time. The translations of the spore child twist the minds inside the heads of state. They breed chaos, violence, and fear. The aim is death. All the spores want is an endless carrion war and under the earth, a boundless maze of rotting flesh where every living thing is muck. They are seeds after all. That's what spore is, a seed child. The fungus they were made to grow needs dying things to live. That's why the stupid adult spores attack. That is why the child spores exist, to become valuable, to be moved around, to be kept safe, to produce death. It is a long plan, but what is time to a fungal mind? Right, hello, how's it going? I'm reading from Veins of the Earth, and that was the, what was that? The Psychomycosis Megaspores. This is what I was talking about, that this monster is very sad. I'm doing great. I'm having a fun time reading for a bunch of people, and this is a fun. I'm having a lot of fun during this reading stream. I was a little I was nervous going in, honestly. I'm probably actually gonna do this like mostly pure reading, but I'm still doing just random tabletop talk because random tabletop talk is fun to me. But yeah, so this is a. But I said sad because like, I don't know. Some people have different like levels of like empathy towards children getting hurt. I get kind of bummed. I'm you don't get them. They're very weird. They're very weird. So the RPG Maker thing no longer exists. I don't think I was doing an RPG Maker thing. Wait, let me think of something else. I don't know. But yeah, these are very interesting monsters, and that like this is definitely more like they would need to make. But the best way I can describe it is, these really live or die by the magic level of your setting. If you have wizards that are just like dropping comprehend languages, these monsters just don't work. They don't work at all. But like if you're doing something like very low magic and like very dark, I think these are like an interesting concept for a monster. Like an explanation for like why a particular like ruling elite are beginning to act more erratic. Like the secret puppet master behind the strings, and even the regular variety of the adults that are just the rampaging fungal zombies, I think are still very interesting as well, because like this monster functions both as a trap by just the spores and also as an encounter by the adults. Let's see. Oh yeah, the thing is, in general for avatar creators, be very careful about using those for VTubing stuff, because usually those have stipulations for their use. So so for stuff like pit crew and whatever, you might need to be a little careful on those. In general, probably the easiest way to get about it. My own homebrew monsters. Ooh, I have a couple of homebrew monsters I got kicking around. I would like to actually do more writing. Actually, I'd like to do more custom stuff. Like I've worked on settings before. I've done entirely homebrew settings. Oh, it doesn't exist anymore. Oh, that's a bummer. I mean, it's probably there's got to be someone somewhere out there that has a backup. Maybe I don't know. Find out. But let me see. So let me put. How would I rate this? How would I rate this guy? I'll put him maybe. I'll put him more in the right here because I don't think he's useful for most scenarios, but I think he's very interesting. Oh, the fake Hydra. I actually feel like the fake Hydra is written by the same dude. I could be wrong. Let me see. Fake Hydra. The fake Hydra is a very interesting monster. The idea of the fake Hydra. I'm trying to figure out how do I describe the false Hydra. Oh no, it's not written by the same dude, but the false Hydra is very interesting. It's a sort of like it's in the same kind of category of these monsters. Let me see. Here's the false Hydra for people who want to bookmark it later. It kind of got the same mood to these monsters, I think. that like it's very appealing. Would I date them? I would not date a fungus thing. I do not want to die. Oh, you gotta actually run it? Oh, I'm so jelly. That sounds like fun. That sounds like a ton of fun. Sounds like a ton of fun. But yeah, as far as like talking about homebrew stuff, I would like to write more homebrew stuff, especially. And then I could do some stream where I kind of like look through my old DM notes and kind of read off some stuff. Something I've been really thinking about doing is just doing a stream where I show people my process of how I game master, and just kind of like put stuff together. Sword. I have that picture looks really familiar, but I think that what book were they from? God, Sword looks really familiar, and I cannot think of where I saw them from. I want to say they were from the Fiend Folio. But yeah, I'd love to do like a, not necessarily a how-to GM, but more like how I GM sort of thing. I think that's coming up next. I'd like to do more of these tabletop role-playing game like adjacent streams where they're not necessarily me running a game, though there is a game like so my Thursday stream is going to actually be delayed to Friday because I'm going to be doing some planning for a new session. It's not vampire. That's going to be fun. Also, now I'm really into this idea of doing macho maid. Hal's Guide to DM like Hal. I mean, the funny thing is, a lot of my DMing is like I take a lot of shortcuts, so it probably wouldn't look very impressive, but they're from Mordekainen's Tome of Foes. Okay, I have not seen them, but I have them pulled up. Once again, I now have a billion tabs of cool stuff I want to check out, so I'm very appreciative. Oh, police run a GM stream? Okay, let me write that down. if there's interest for that. GM stream. So probably what I'll do for the GM stream is I didn't even consider. Did I consider it a Wayback Machine? I don't remember suggesting it, but if I gave you the inspiration for looking in there, I'll take credit for it. I'll take credit for it. But yeah, I would do a GM stream. That'd be very cool. How many monsters we got left? We got 5, and it also could be just general talky stuff. It's a Night Garm from the Tome of Beast. I feel like I've seen. Isn't it Tome of Beast like a third-party 5th edition book? I think that sounds right. Oh yeah. I reckon I've seen this. I haven't actually looked through it though. I should do that. So as far as like other Monster Mans. Oh, okay. I did remind you. Okay, indirectly. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take credit for that. Some other monster books I want to. So I got more books by Patrick Stewart, but I also got some. Just like a bunch of other Monster Mails I'd like to read from at some point. But I think probably the next thing I'll probably do a GM stream maybe. I'll figure out what I'm doing. Either my plan is to run more Vampire next next Saturday, but if that doesn't work out because we're so there might be something that's interrupting that for my family stuff. So if that does happen, I'll run that. And if not, maybe I'll do like just a GM stream, like a GM talking stream. Oh, they're also in 4th edition. Okay. I'm bummed I didn't get to play as much 4th edition as I'd like, but I did really like everything I saw about 4th edition. I really like 4th edition, honestly. That's like the hottest take I could possibly do is when I say I like 4th edition. I love the way that the character classes interacted. I love the idea of like the points of light setting where it's just like it's a setting made to be explored and filled in. You've only played 5th edition. Ooh, there's a lot of good stuff in early editions. That's also something I wanted to do too, is that there's a lot of content in like, so I grew up, so I cut my teeth on 3.5 edition. If you want to date how old I am, when I lived among humans, when I still thought I was a human, that's when I got into 3rd edition. Me being in the tabletop games predates me being an elf by a couple of years, which is fun. But let me see, looking for this next monster's art. But. It's the edition I cut my teeth on, and it's one of those things where it's like it's not. It's apparently the best. I wouldn't say it's the best edition. They made a lot of mistakes they made a lot of mistakes for 3rd edition. Hey, Poltergeist, that's all good. Everyone starts at some point, and like don't feel bad because you started in 5th edition. I know some people bully people because of that, but like. People get into games when they get into games. That's just how it happens. And like, I would like to do some streams where I talk about cool content from earlier editions and maybe how to incorporate it into 5th edition. About the same time. It's all good. Don't feel bad about that. Don't feel guilty. I'm assuming you feel guilty because you posted a sad face, but don't feel bad about that. All right, this is another monster. This is another one of these big showcase monsters. It's probably more about the spectacle and less about the usability. Yeah, the whole point of tabletop games are to have fun. I will say fourth edition did have the best martial classes. Warlord, I miss you. Rather, I could cut my teeth on second edition. Ooh, I wanted to play Planescape when it was new. What color are my pants? What color are my pants? Maybe like a dark gray. Maybe like a. I meant the socks are the same color as my gloves, but like maybe the pants look like a dark gray or dark brown. You can do whatever. I have multiple pairs of pants. If I have pants that are different colors, go for it. You make whatever color you want. Generally, my color scheme is kind of like green, gray, and brown, though. You got multiple choices. But yeah, Dark Sun looks like was a lot of fun too. I read a lot of the Dark Sun like player's handbook, and there's a lot of cool stuff. Dark Sun in there is like if you want like Grimdark Desert campaign. I did say I'm getting legs. In fact, I mentioned this earlier in the stream. I'll say it again. I have been contacted by my papa, my good old pops, and I have paid him an additional part of the payment. So he's going to start working on that soon-ish. I don't know how soon-ish, but the dude works fast, so I imagine it's going to be sooner than later. So he is. So pants are coming. Pants and legs are coming. All right. So this is the Spectre of Brocken. I'm probably pronouncing this wrong because I don't know how the double broken. I think it's probably more like broken. I think it's the Spectre of Brocken. I missed the Blackguard. Yeah, Crackers legitimately contributed a lot to the leg fund, and I'm very thankful for that. It's super good. It does kind of got that Godzilla look to it. Like if Godzilla was like a biblical demon, it kind of has that feel to it. Yeah, thigh high. The Blackguard. I remember playing Blackguard. There's some like good Blackguard stuff from third edition. I always like the idea of like the ones where it's like you can. This might have been a Pathfinder invention, but there was one where it's like a version of like the anti-paladin Blackguard would host a disease in their body, but they would be immune to it. So your just whole body is just riddled with AIDS, just like all the diseases at once, and then you can just weaponize that against people. It's just like it's real evil stuff. Or was the Blackguard the prestige class that if you failed to be a paladin, you can take Blackguard and you can kind of slowly do stuff with it? It's been a hot minute. Let me see. Oh, the Book of Elder Evils is so good. That's such a good book. There's so much cool stuff in there. Like the inevitable creature that is going to end the universe because a contract was broken, and by God, it's going to fulfill that contract. That might be another one I might do some. I might read some bits if I can figure out a way how to chunk that up properly. Nurgle class. I'm trying to think what's the most Nurgly class. I did play a Bloat Mage from Pathfinder before, and that was fun. My guy was a fat wizard filled with too much blood who was running around casting spells and eating food. I loved him. I love my Bloat Mage so much. He was a disgusting bastard, and I loved him. He was so great. All right, so we are now going to read the next monster. This is the Spectre of the Broken. God, I haven't read the Book of Exalted Deeds in a hot minute. I cannot remember what was in there. I think that was the one that had like a bunch of like good poisons for paladins to use against demons and stuff, and it was like one of the ones that was like rated explicitly because it maybe had an errant boob in there. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, let's see. Oh, the Book of Vile Darkness. Yeah, those are very weird books. I don't think I have any of them in my collection, which is kind of a bummer because they're very rare-ish now. I'd have to look through my third edition collection and find out what's like the gem at this point. I think it might be the 3.5 Monster Manual, though my personal favorite is Lords of Madness. Lords of Madness is a very intriguing book about mind flayers, aboleths, Grell, and beholders. It takes like an academic approach to them. Like it talks about their physiology, their culture, their civilization, their buildings. It's super good. The Book of Beautiful Horror. I don't know if I've heard that one. I'm gonna Google that for later. And then sorry. I will now read book. It's all good. I do love talking about tabletop games. I don't know. I feel torn. Like this is a reading stream, so ostensibly I should be reading, but I'm also having so much fun talking to you all. So I don't know. I'm going back and forth. 3.5 had the best lore. I don't know. I think second edition probably has a better quality of lore. 3.5 just had some wackety stuff that I really liked, like Tome of Magic. Or Incarnum. I love Incarnum so much. It's a very underappreciated alternative magic system, which I'll explain later. And it uses soul magic. The Spectre of the Broken. A vast she-wolf made from the skeletons of prenatal children holding tightly to each other. Her eyes are distant telescopic views of cities burning. Her teeth are broken obsidian kanji clutched by bone baby hands. Her howl is a fleet of bombers disappearing into a hurricane. She has a crown, a band of burning gold like something out of a poem by Blake or a saint's mushroom vision. She is not from here. She outranks you. She has the silence, stillness, and fluid motion of a wolf. Her ruinscape eyes regard you indifferently, silently watchful, focused in a calm lock. The gaze never seems to leave your own. Everything she does seems deliberate and assured. The world accommodates itself in minor ways to her assumptions. Doors expand so not to graze her sides. Steps lower and lengthen to save her from stretching out. This isn't magic. She doesn't know she's doing it. She can never look undignified. Light Hunter always falls just so. This even affects you. Dirt, damage, and unsightly mutations and scars of every kind are muted in her presence, and all take +1 charisma when around her. It's the spiritual equivalent of putting on a tie before you entered a club. The Broken was intended to end the world and drag it into flames. Not this one, a better one. She failed and died. You are the shadow of a 5-dimensional being existing in a higher plane, and this is why much of your life makes no sense. Sometimes you sleep and dream, and if your dream and that last dream thought it was alive, then that is your relative position to the world that the Broken was fated to destroy. You are a shadow of that 5-dimensional plane. There are lots of you, parallel selves and places, not quite real. You'll never meet them. When the Broken fell, her spirit flowed away, trickled surprisingly into a lower dimension. Scroll, like a hole in the shopping bag. She is a ghost thing now, a specter, a memory, but is still real. Hyper real like nothing else can be. She might be dead, but she is still slumming it here. Her voice sounds like your mother pronouncing your full name. The announcement in a doctor's waiting room. A judge summing up. She may append titles and fragments to your name that you have not heard before. She's speaking to the other yous. They have those names. She is present in those other worlds as well. To get her to focus on you alone. Say something original, unpredictable, and unlike you. I'm loving reading all these descriptions, you guys. I will definitely respond to them in a bit. She's an empress with mild dementia. I'm a Peter File 476. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the workshop. We are reading from Veins of the Earth. This is the Spectre of the Broken. Enjoy. She's an empress with mild dementia, arrogant and slightly bemused by the flickering ghost shapes that surround her. She knows you, or assumes she does. Knows more than she could wish concerning your utter irrelevance. She observes multiple parallel yous as one, so she cannot directly. She observes multiple parallels as one, so can see directly patterns to your life that you may not, but not what shoes you are wearing or anything that you just said or the details of anything. She gets the gist. Her throne's a nest of ruined books, her lair the set of a gigantic fox. It's lined with torn-up magic books, apocalyptic pages from the holy tomes of various gods, and the skeletons of popes and the more devout kings. Its lanterns are tortured, fire spirits too broken and afraid to leave. Basically, alt universe. Yeah, we're getting a lot of Godzilla. It does look a lot like Godzilla. Am I Kingzilla? That's why you're not king. We could be a god. Looks like Schizo T-Rex, I think is a good way to describe it. Scroll.wav. She's a big dom. She's kind of got that energy. She's very regal and royal and doesn't really notice you. Wow, nice tricking the streamer, bro. I said as sarcastically as possible. Hope you like the new draw. There's our new drawing. Holy shit. Holy shit, this is so good. Twice you spoil me. Twice you spoiler me. Let me see. Let me show this on stream real quick. I have to show. You actually do you mind if I show on stream? Because I really want to show this. I really want to show this. Ooh, best art is free. And yeah, I will explain the creature. There's a bit more of the creature to read. Real quick, I want to put up the art that Poltergeist just knocked out, and then I am going to let me see. This is gonna look very weird in comparison. Oh, I put on the wrong layer. Sometimes I'll actually drag the image on top of my Twitch stream and not OBS because I'm stupid. Look at this. Look how good this is. Oh, you got peak gremlin energy on Echo too. This is so good. Let me put that. I'm gonna keep that on the stream like right here. Right here. It's so good. So good. Free art for best. Oh, you seriously are spoiling the hell out of me. It's so good. You guys are spoiling me. Oh, so good. So good. The hair is smiling. The hair is smiling. It's Echo's little headdress thing. Peak Echo energy. Indeed, indeed. But Stockshock, I'll explain the creature a bit more, but there's a bit more to read, specifically her combat, her wants, and what she can provide. So we'll get into that, and I'll kind of delve more into the spirit, into the specter of the broken. Combat. With wounds, she makes mutations in your flesh. Because she is more real than you, she exists in several different parallel worlds at once, which are all to her vague, shadowy blurs combining to form dark points to attack. When she fights back tears, for some of the phrasing on this is weird. When she fights back, she tears through these worlds a little, and you get mixed and combined with one of your parallel selves who is doing the same thing you are in another world. When wounded, roll for mutation. She can bite you right out of reality. If she kills a PC, then everything they have ever done disappears. The world reknits itself around their absence. That PC may not be spoken of again, and is non-recoverable by any means. If a player asks them, then deny any recollection of that persona. Also, if you fight her, you might come back as someone else. If she fights you, then she is fighting in multiple dimensions at the same time. So what she does might not make much sense to you. Once, the Brocken wants to rule, to conquer, and to destroy the world. In either order, both are good. Even in this shithouse reality she can barely understand, and that breaks every time she touches it. More specifically, number 1, the submission of crowned kings. 2, treasures of noted imperial might. 3, the destruction of the anti-Phoenix, they are enemies. 4, the submission of a local god, a petty one will do. 5, a major faith bent to her will. 6, a city burnt in her name. 7, books of magic for her throne. 8, occultum coins. What she can provide. She has a kind of decayed authority, like a pauper aristocrat that still has membership at the club. You can gain introduction to any god or deity. Holders of her seal, a fetal skull, may pass any portal. Speakers of her oath may command undead as a cleric of equal level. When in direct presence, she can reverse, modify, and amend divine judgments. She may call up spirits of the dead and others. When concentrating, she may isolate and swap around parallel selves of those present. She's definitely got that. This is definitely like a fuck you enemy, like in-game big event creature. Indeed, indeed. The weird versus Tarask is a appropriate as qualifier. So she defeats a PC. Should I shoot the player? Yes. No, don't do that. I do not stand for shooting players, even if they're really mean. So the idea with this is like, this is a, much like the anti-Phoenix, it's a very meta creature. Like some of the stuff that they mentioned earlier, specifically about like the Dreaming's version of alternate selves, I'm fairly certain is just a very prosy way of saying that she recognizes player characters. She recognizes that the PCs are constructs of the players. And when she sees parallel selves, she's seeing other variants of the PCs as well. Like the fact that for her, she exists in like a weird metafictional point of time where she is outside of the game, but also in the game at once. It's another one of those things that's very cool to think about. In actual practice, it's probably very weird. I don't know if it would necessarily work all the time, though I still think she has a lot she can do. Like the fact that she can be bargained with. Like once again, any enemy that's stupid powerful but can be reasoned with, I find very interesting. Yeah, you could use her as an in-character way of saying like, boy, I wish my character was a sorcerer, not a wizard. You could speak to her and the party could do some task for her. and then she could swap you with a parallel version of yourself. Which would be an in-universe way to explain a total character rework while still having that connection. Yeah, so she's very interesting. This is definitely another one. It's like it will warp. Also, like the fact that she can cure and inflict mutation. Like this could be a goal for a campaign where it's like everyone's underground, heavily irradiated by like magical pollution. Everyone's mutant. Everyone's sick. The fact that there's a mythical beast who can kill mutation just by her presence. The GM's Tulpa. She kind of is. The Spectre and the Anti-Phoenix both kind of are like sub-layers between the GM. If you want to hear a game that has the GM's Tulpa, okay. This is going to be a very interesting tangent. Let's see, but first, let's see. Well, would a reality swap hurt the player? Like, ooh. In theory, I think you could justify that. There is, I assume there could be some barrier where like the filter between player character and player, that is something like kind of like the whole Blackleaf scenario where like the character getting messed with. Imagine you talk to your GM about changing your character and he tells you that you can do it in a story and Godzilla shows up. That would be the best campaign fucking ever. I would love that shit. But Gail, speaking about the idea of a DM's Tulpa, there is a book. It is a third-party book for 3.5 and it is called The Immortal's Handbook. And I must mention the Immortal's Handbook because it is shithouse bananas. If you guys are familiar with the idea of the Epic Level Handbook, or for in general, so D&D 3rd edition, in theory said you start at level 1, you go to level 20. In theory, there's content above level 20 where you're dealing with like gods and reality-ending threats and stuff like that. In theory, you could scale it forever. The Epic Level Handbook gives you tools to, in theory, scale forever. But it's still fairly reasonable. Mind you, 3.5 as a system breaks down at like level 12. So when you're getting to like level 30, things just don't work anymore and everything's like bizarre magical rocket tag. Oh, it's far beyond D&D power levels. It is far. Epic is probably actually D&D power, like Dragon Ball Z power levels. But the Immortal's Handbook is different. The Immortal's Handbook was written by a madman who has no idea, or maybe he knows too much, but he wrote a book that goes beyond epic level, goes into beyond deities to galactic scale progression, where your fighter is using a sword made of made of whole ass galaxies, while you fight a vampire that is made of the spirit of humanity that juggles 7 swords, and each one is an artifact stronger than anything you've ever heard of. Legitimately Gurren Lagann logic. There is a monster called a Nexus Dragon. A Nexus Dragon that breathes a breath on you that is so powerful it rewrites time. And there's a description in that book that says that there's a person that uses a Nexus Dragon as a fucking whip. As a whip. When I talked earlier about things from tabletop games that sear into your brain, the idea that someone's using a fucking Paradox Dragon as a whip blows my shit. It is too crazy to believe. And the crown jewel is the Neutronian Golem. The Neutronian Golem is made out of pure neutron energy created by beings they're called Time Lords that are basically stronger than they share a name with Doctor Who Time Lords. As far as I know, it never had a print edition, or if it had a print edition, it is stupidly rare beyond all reckoning. I looked. I want a physical copy of the Immortal's Handbook. But okay, I need to show you guys Neutronian Golem. I might even do, okay. This is going to be an impromptu reading because this is not from the fucking book. This is from the Madman's. Let me see. Let me see if I can find a good. I have a PDF copy of it somewhere, but I'm gonna. Here we go. Full of bread. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the workshop. Now we are going to talk about madness, the madness of a role-playing game, the pure, unadulterated. Just like when people do things they shouldn't. Can I get a link to the book? I don't know if there's a link that's still up. If you Google Immortal's Handbook, you'll find it. I think it's just something like if you just look up like Immortal's Handbook 3.5. But it's definitely created by one guy because like the art's kind of janky. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. This is Neutronian Golem. This is what the bad boy looks like. And I want to take a quick look at the stats because I think you guys need the stats to kind of breathe in The pure batshit insanity of this. And Oedipus knows what's going on here. This is the fucking Neutronian Golem has been a legend. In theory, it was for the longest time, it was the strongest statted monster in any third-party book. It's probably been beaten since then, but I just want you guys to drink this in. Hit points. 2,216,080 hit points. Initiative plus 79. A fly speed of over 5 billion feet. Is the website still up? Oh, fuck yes. Fuck yes, I'm so glad. A basic attack bonus of plus 152. And it deals on average 225,526 damage. This is beyond god stats. In the game, in the Immortals Handbook, all the gods are bitch-ass chumps compared to this. Gods are fucking nothing. We have moved beyond gods for the Immortals Handbook. Just drink that in. All right, I'm gonna just go through it. I'm just gonna read this. I just want to read this. We're just gonna read over it. I'm gonna put the picture. I'm gonna crop it again. Brocken pretty cool. Brocken pretty cool. Like it. I'd actually say probably put that in like the second tier where I think it's a cool monster. However, I need you guys to bathe in the insanity with me right now. One day I will read more monsters from this book because they're all shithouse bananas, and maybe I'm spoiling things by doing the coolest monster at once. It still has 10-foot reach. Breathless, hello, how's it going? We were reading from Veins of the Earth, but I need to describe the Neutronian Golem because it's stupid. Oh yeah, there's technically, the thing is 3.5 is a broken enough system that you can beat this. The last method I remember seeing, there's some ways that you can create some sort of like acidic orbs that can eat through its armor without killing successfully. There are some like wild biblical angel like analogs in here too. All right, I want to read this. Though. We doing a tier list. The tier list is basically how much I like them. This Golem's going to go at the top. I'm saying Golem's goes at the top. It has a special place in my heart. It has had a special place in my heart for over a goddamn decade. I have loved this creature for over 10 years. I would say more at this point. Yes, make a tier list alongside. Put your favorites. It is legitimately beyond god tier. It is beyond god tier. All right, let us now do a dramatic reading. You know what? I might even diverge from the. There's like how many monsters? We got 4 monsters in the Immortals Handbook. I might put that aside. We might go on to a little bananas tangent and do some Immortals Handbook stuff because I just want you guys to know how bananas this book is. Because like in theory, Veins of the Earth is sold in shelves. You can buy Veins of the Earth. This is a treat you won't get without a Sherpa of the old 3.5 ways. Yeah, breadless. Yeah, we are doing a tier list. Yeah. All right, so here is the Neutronian Golem. A ball of blistering heat surrounds this automaton. A ball of blistering heat surrounding this automaton is palpable. At its center, you can discern a gray humanoid shape, only slightly taller than a human, but proportionally built like a stocky dwarf. The surface of the figure is featureless, in fact. It seems to bubble and ripple as if constantly boiling. Neutronian golems are immensely powerful constructs fashioned from super-dense material of a neutron star, sometimes known as Death Stars. These juggernauts were created by Time Lords, who refer to the golem as neutralizers, for the purpose of defending the borders between the higher and lower dimensions. In the Mortal's Handbook, there are steps above the planes of existence. There's dimensions that are just like stacked like a fucking layer cake. That gives you some context. Let's continue. Very rarely, let me see. Those who leave the confines of their own universe and attempt to enter another are usually intercepted by one or more of these extra cosmic automatons. Very rarely, Neutronian golems will themselves enter lower dimensional space at the behest of their creators to counteract some perceived threat. In these scenarios, the golems could be likened to cosmic scalpels with the universe as the patient to be operated on. A Neutronian golem stands 6 feet tall, 7 feet broad, and 6 feet deep, and weighs approximately 226 trillion tons. A Neutronian golem's unfeasibly high density gives it plus 32 virtual size categories. A Neutronian golem does not speak. It is thick. 226 tons worth of thickness. It is the thickest boy. Its cheeks are made of stars. It is thick. Combat. A Neutronium Golem is all but an invincible opponent, and it's generally powerful enough to deal with even multiple cosmic level threats simultaneously. In Immortal's Handbook, the Cosmos is a higher tier rating than the Planes. To give you an idea. I think I already said that. This is frying my brain, so if I repeat stuff, please understand. I'm the pepperoni right now. We are all peak pepperoni. Let's see. Even approaching a Neutronian Golem is extremely hazardous for all but the most resilient of opponents. And wait till I start describing its auras, because they're fucking stupid. Those struck by Neutralizer's powerful fist are often disintegrated with a single punch. Remember, on average, we're talking about 225,000 damage. A level 1 D&D character has 9 HP. A usual planet in D&D terms has been theorized to have somewhere in the ballpark of 60,000 HP, at least as far as 3.5 math goes. Here we go. The remains briefly decorating the construct's body before being incinerated and crushed into infinitesimal fragments by the unrelenting heat and gravity. A typical punch is fully capable of destroying a planet. Oh, they actually do mention they have a different number. In this number, 122,880 HP is the amount of a planet. So if one of these guys goes apeshit, he'll punch the Earth to death in one. He will one punch man the fucking Earth. All right, and there's more. Here's his abilities. Accretion. Anyone striking Neutronian Golem must make a DC 461 Strength check as an immediate action to be able to retrieve their weapon or appendage from the automaton surface following each and every attack. The save is strength-based. So not only is this thing stupid strong, not only is it faster, almost as fast as the speed of light, not only is it made of stars, it's very, very sticky. It's a sticky boy. Your weapons will stick to it. This is so dumb. This is so fucking dumb. Damage reduction. A Neutronian Golem has a natural hardness of 1,500 hit points, which in 3rd edition terms, the hardness is like damage reduction, but better. So you hit it with a weapon, you have to be doing over 1,000 damage. It does have its own gravity. It has its own gravity aura. We will be reading about that soon. The immense gravitational energy of a Neutronian Golem binds it together, allowing it to naturally heal 1,500 hit points per round. Gravitic aura. The great massive Neutronian Golem causes gravitic disturbances within the localized area. Covers the effects of this ability. So this is distance based. This is distance based. Oh yeah. I mean, assuming you don't like instantly explode, because here's the thing. If you are within 600 feet of the golem, you have to make a DC 461 save or you will be stunned. If you're within 200 feet, you have to make a 461 DC save to go immediately unconscious. If you're within 60 feet, same save or you'll die. You can die by being within 60 feet of it. And also, you take 2% damage each round as the gravity crushes you to death. I don't know if I want to run or... in theory, I would love to run an Immortal's Handbook game, but I don't know if I don't know if I'm like, my brain is ready enough. I don't know if I'm broken enough as a human being. I say human being just as a turn of phrase. As a pure elven spirit. I don't know if I'm strong enough to mentally to run an Immortal's Handbook campaign. God, I would love to though. It's been on my list for, like I said, over a decade. If I could do it, I would try. Maybe someday. Maybe someday I will do it. We'll find out. Oh, but that's just not all. Not only does it have a gravity mastery, it has a heat aura. If you're within 600 miles of the Neutronian Golem, you take 500 fire damage, and it's divine fire because fuck you, fuck your fire resistance. This is God fire. Eat shit, asshole. If you are within 200 miles, you take 1,501 damage on average. Because fuck it, why not? If you're within 60 miles, you will be taking 7,507 damage. And if you're within 20 miles, a measly 20 miles, on average, from its heat, you will take 31,031 damage. Around. I want you guys to drink that in. A max level 5th edition character has probably has somewhere in the ballpark of 200 health. being within 600 miles, if this thing flew above Earth, everything would die, and anything that doesn't die is some sort of fucking Superman that has been hiding and doing a real shit job. Tier list wise, this is gonna go up top. This is going up top. This is beyond God tier. I give pieces 40 level. I don't even think 40 levels will do it. You have to do explicit system mastery cheese to not die to this thing. If you're just like a regular ass player, you're gonna have no chance. You're gonna have no chance. Oh, also there's more stuff too. There's more fun stuff. All right. If you kill it, let's say something happens and you kill it. This thing would not stand a fucking chance. You would not stand a chance. We would both die when it goes within 600 miles of us. It'd be no fair. Yeah. It would cook the earth super easy. But okay, let's take a theoretical scenario. Let's say you kill it somehow. I don't know how. I'd have to look up through a 3rd edition optimization boards to figure out how people killed it. When it dies, it explodes. When it explodes, it does a bunch of damage. It does more damage than the heat aura. If it explodes, everyone within 140 miles is make a DC 215 save or be disintegrated as per the spell. For people who are familiar with D&D spells, disintegration means you just instantly dissolve into a pile of ash. At least in 3rd edition, that's how it worked. Now it's just a shitload of damage. Oh, it's in miles, it's in miles. It's in miles. Okay, and that is just that. You also take a fireball worth 4,000 d6s, a blast of 2,000 d6s, and 200 radiation damage. And in this system, radiation damage is damage done directly to your stats. So all your stats go down by 200. And at the farthest distance away, even if you are 2,500 miles, you're still taking 2d6 blast damage. So everyone is dying if you kill it. Everyone is dying if you don't kill it. It is a big fuck you. It is fuck you made into paper form. A individual wrote this down. They committed this to paper. This is knowledge that was as a small impressionable elf, when I was still thinking I was a human, when I was a human in high school, I read about this monster and my brain shat its pants because I had to comprehend that this is a thing. I had just learned 3rd edition. I was just learning that there was all kinds of source books outside of what was in the bookstore. And I found this on the interwebs. And I was just like, damn. I could see Kirkbride doing some of this. Legitimately what I want to do after this, you know what? Fuck Veins of the Earth. I got 5 monsters in there. I'll save it for another stream. I want to read some more other monsters from this book because I need you guys to know. I need you guys to know about this. Okay, so let's say this sounds intriguing. You're like, by golly. Oh, you're calculating square ranges now. Very nice, very nice. So let's say by golly, you're like, by George, I want to run this as an adventure. Well, don't you worry. Mr. Crazed man who wrote the Immortals Handbook gave some adventure prompts. Here, I will tell you to them. So if you want to run a Neutronian Golem adventure of your own. And they break it on by power tiers. This is so handy. It's so nice of them. Mid-cosmic power tier. A Neutronian golem has been destroyed in proximity to a planet by some unseen power, but his death throes have blasted and burnt the world in half. Those creatures that have somehow survived have become mutated into paragon pseudo-natural cogents and worse. I'm not even going to describe what that means because I've kind of forgotten. From the radiation, and the borders between the two sides of the planet have become a dangerous battleground. Actually, that's a cool premise. That's a real cool premise. You could do a lot with that premise, honestly. Just like real high level D&D fucking nonsense on that side of the world. I think that'd be so cool. But you know what? The golem is dead by the time that adventure starts. And you strapping young chaps, lasses, and everyone else, you want to fight one. So let's see some adventure ideas where you fight one. Yeah, the first one's just Fallout. The first one's pure Fallout. It's pure Fallout. So let's say you want to fight one. High Cosmic Tier. Azathoth, an insane and dreadly powerful old one from the Far Realm. Because fuck yeah, we're ripping off Lovecraft. Why the fuck not? Has somehow been able to possess Neutronian Golem. and has decided to have the Neutralizer destroy all deities of the universe. This is an adventure prompt where an angry robot is controlled by Azathoth to kill every god. Is this just fucking Demon Bane? Is this just like weird backwards Demon Bane and I didn't realize it? Is this Demon Bane? I mean, I'm vaguely aware of Demon Bane. I know there's mechs in Lovecraft, and I don't know how they interact. That could be it. If someone has read or watched Demon Bane, I think it's a visual. If everyone's read Demon Bane, let me know how close that sounds to Demon Bane's prompt. Just had an aneurysm looking at it. Good, yeah. I mean, it's a fucking monster. You should read One Immortal's Handbook. Oh, okay. That's a good. Okay, let me see. I'm actually gonna put that to a poll. I'm gonna put that to a poll real quick because I'm legitimately curious. So it'd be poll. Let's see. More Immortals Handbook reading now? Question mark. More, please, or save them once per stream. I'm gonna give you guys a minute on that. I think I'll let you guys choose. I'll let you choose. I'll let you. Sometimes I was thinking about too. I don't really have a fan name written down, but I've been workshopping the idea of Halbuds. All you Halbuds can choose which idea you think is cool. All right, we got. Make it a game for us. Ooh, yeah, I could do that. I could even do them as a redeem, honestly. Oh, you guys are actually wanting to save them. Very interesting. Very interesting. I guess this is going to be a rare treat. I could make like I could just do community goals where like the goal is to read more from the Immortals Handbook, and just that way that I don't even know when they're coming up. All right, let's see. There's still a little bit more. I like this, the power scaler created, but this is definitely more of a thought experiment. I legitimately could not tell you if an Immortals Handbook game was ever run. I'm sure someone's tried, and I don't know. I don't know if anyone's actually succeeded. I might try it as a thought experiment. That might be fun. But we'll see. All right, once per stream. I will save more of these. There are definitely more. There's a whole ass monster manual. I kind of started with the crown jewel, but there's also a lot of good shit in there. All right, and then there's one last prompt. Another high cosmic tier prompt because there's nothing really beyond this. An army of Neutronian golems has warped into space in a desperate effort to salvage your universe from annihilation at the hands of a great host of umbrals, led by the entropic First One Thomas himself. And that's just fucking... that's nonsense. That's words. Those are words. Those are words that were committed. Those are just words there. None of that makes any sense. None of that makes any sense to me. I think umbrals are supposed to be like the enemies of the Time Lords, but other than that, I don't know. Rating. I love Neutronian Golem. I love him so much. I've been rating a lot of these monsters based on like how practical they are to run and how interesting encounters they'd be. I said that I love monsters that you can like talk to and they're human-ish, but they think, but they're like adjacent. I'm gonna break my own fucking rules. I love the Neutronian Golem. He is my stupid math son, and I love him. He has fascinated me since time immortal. Like Umbral does mean shadow, but like the concepts in the Immortals Handbook uses a lot of existing terminology in bananas ways. So I think unless you're like Kirkbride doing a rail of cocaine off your bathroom floor while still suffering from mushrooms, I don't think there's any way you could ever know. I don't think there's any way you could ever know. So let me see. Let's see. Let me see. I'm gonna see. We're about 2.5 hours in. Let's see. We got four monsters left to go from the Immortals Handbook. And I do want to finish this one. We took a weird tangent, don't get me wrong. I had a lot of fun though. I love sharing like little nuggets of like history from like tabletop role-playing game stuff. This is my jam forever. I love it. I love it so much. I almost want to clip this section in particular just so I can save it and cherish it for the rest of my life because I love this. But I think we're going to go back to Veins of the Earth. We're going back to Veins of the Earth. It's a lot more sane. The fact that we had a extra dimensional being who basically exists outside of reality and kind of knows the fiction of the player characters. The fact that it's not the craziest thing that's going to be read tonight is fucking bananas. So let me take a drink. I'm a very thirsty boy. I'm glad you like this though. Because I will say the Neutronian Golem is stupid, but there's a lot more crazy in there than just Neutronian Golem. Got head off. Oh, Poltergeist, it's understandable. It's understandable. But once again, thank you so much for the art. I love it. I'm gonna post it on my Twitter. Actually, Poltergeist, didn't you open up a? Was that you open up the Twitter lately? You should post on your Twitter, and then I'll retweet you, and I can give you some attention because you do good shit. I don't want to give you credit. So do that. You can do that when you're awake though. I will cherish the art till then, but I want you to post in your new Twitter. Yeah, I'm gonna reblog the hell out of that. Fuck yeah. All right, well, Poltergeist, have yourself a good sleep, and I'm glad you came, and I'm sorry it's so late, but I hope you had fun. So good night. And for everyone else, I still got 4 monsters to go. I'm feeling it now, Mr. Krabs, and now we're going to read the Poltergeist. Yeah. Drink and posture. Drinking is happening. My posture could be fixed. My posture could be a lot better. And then, so here's the next monster up. This is the Titan Shell Crab. This is a big crab boy. If you guys like big crab boys, I got you covered. Big crab boys represent. There is a one-page tabletop game called Big Motherfucking Crab Truckers, where you are crabs that are truckers that are delivering cargo. It looks like a skull. That's correct. You are correct, Gail. Feel like Stock is gonna have a field day thirsting over my Hal art. Are you doing like spicy Hal art? I'm down for that. I'm very curious if you specifically mentioned Stock Shock being thirsty about art. So this is you have me intrigued. All right, so this is the Titan Shell Crab. Real quick, the Titan Shell Hermit Crab. Hermit Crab is a very important part because, as Gail said, that is a skull. And then we will go ahead and go through this. All right. You have news? What's the news? I will before I read, I will drink, and then we can read your news. Did you find the thing? Did you find the character generator? I'm nice and drinky. Doing the good drink. All right, here we go. There's supposed to be 6 of these books. Oh shit, yeah, there wasn't there? There was the Immortals Handbook, and then there was like a one that was meant for like player characters, but I don't know what happened to the other ones. This is the guy got like a Hermitar feel to it. All right, so while you deliver good news, Bri, I'm going to read about the Titan Shell Crab, the Titan Shell Hermit Crab. Oh, it starts with poetry. Oh, wherefore sleepest thou? For heaven is parted from thee, and the earth knows thee not. This car-sized crab is noted for the strength and strangeness of its shell, the length and patience of its courtship. As everyone knows, Titans, immortal beings of wild potency, ruled the earth in its chaotic stage. They birthed gods, man-shaped Homo divinus, stellar beings absorbed with human wants. These apparently inferior things outwitted and killed their primal sires. And that's why the universe looks like us, governed by principles that an ape can understand. Anthropic fascism. Don't like the rules? Kill the boss, eat him, and remake things so that you know what they are. He would do the same to you. The bodies and blood of the Titans went into making the sea, sky, earth, and stars. The skulls were lost. Life hates a vacuum. A big crab lives there now. The Titan Skull Hermit Crab is the last and latest stage of its development. It has moved through tiny ant skulls, rat skulls, monkey heads, baby skulls, man skulls, ogre skulls, and giant skulls. It has taken a couple million years. It grows slowly, and a good skull is hard to find. Now it is nearly ready to mate. This age of the world has reached its end. In a couple of 100,000 years, mankind will have bollocked up reality so much that the whole thing will decay back into primal soup. At this point, the Titan Skull Crabs will begin the sex lurch. This will be incredibly loud. The Titan skulls that form their home will bang like solemn bongos, rebounding through time and space. There will be little there to hear them, except for the neonatal Titans accreting in the chaos flow. If any Titans left a tale of the thumping beat that first awakened them in the cosmic womb, none have lived to tell it. By the time new titans have been born to rule over all things, the baby crabs are hunting out their first decapitated ants. Over the uncounted millennia, the titans reign. They slowly grow, moving from skull to skull, waiting for the gods to be born. Then things begin to happen real quickly. The gods rebel, the titans die, the phenomenological world is born from their flesh. The ascent of man begins. The titan skull sinks uncorrupted in the ooze. The adolescent giant skull crabs gather and fight. An epic underground brawl leaves one crab for each available skull. And there they wait, attending the decay of mankind, preparing for the apocalypse to mate again. The crabs themselves are nebula-colored or the shade of swollen glittering stars before they implode. The nature of the skulls differs according to the titan that occupied it. Some have minor breaks and holes. Splinters splayed outwards indicate the emergence of young gods, often healed over. Jags pressed in to suggest fatal battle damage. Titan skulls each differ, but most have the granularity and roughness of granite and the sheen of precious metals. The eyes and nose are often blocked up with lesser skulls, piled and cemented. So yes, there are skulls in the skull, and it lives in a palace of skulls. It is skull-based, essentially. The crabs make little sound before they mate. The claw snaps break like gunshots in the dark. Its mouth parts whisper like wet brooms piling soggy leaves, but do not speak. The crab moves awkwardly, a side-to-side, stop-start, auto-cybernetic spindle feedback twitch. Titan skull crabs have a bowerbird-style mating ritual. The male creates a remarkable ossuary encrusted with notable skulls, polished with care and woven in beautiful strands. After the end of time, he dances like an old locomotive. This ushers the female towards his skull mosaic cave. The tessellated head bones may impress. If so, he has his wicked way with her in the night. Wicked way, yeah. Because of this, one of the few things that can disturb the deep waiting of the Titan skull crab is the presence of unusual skulls. High-status skulls of heroes or gods are good. Unusual head shapes or bone types are favored for decapitation, polishing, and careful presentation. The crabs are careful, fussy, slow, and almost impossible to damage. They live inside the skull of something that fights gods. They are wise and experienced and will wait for a good brain box to arrive. Animal but intelligent, they can trade, but only in things they want or have, as skulls of infinite varieties. Each Titan skull has slightly different properties, though what powers they may hold, few can tell. Alright, let me see. So yeah, that's the Titan skull hermit crab. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, I've only found the first two books. It's possible that maybe there's some write-up. Yeah, I'm not surprised, legitimately. The books, let's be real, the Immortals Handbooks were insane. They're great curiosities, but they're not usable books. So I'm not surprised that the other ones kind of fell apart. But it's sad because it's almost outsider art in a way, and I'm sad to see that it didn't work out. But as for the Titan skull crab, it's a really interesting monster. It's another one that I think is supposed to be. They're going to do custom classes. Oh Jesus, that would have been so cool. This is another monster that I think is it's almost too powerful to be of use in a campaign, but I find reading about it very fascinating. I think the fact that I do like the way it's a monster that I think implies a lot about the setting itself, just learning about the cyclical nature of reality. And having something that's older than the gods to bargain with or to experience is I think it's an interesting monster. It's definitely not for every campaign, which is I'm going to put this in the lower tier. I do like it though. It's a very cool monster. So it's legitimately, I love Patrick Stewart to death, but a lot of his monsters are more curiosities. They read good. They're interesting things. They make good books. I love the Veins of the Earth. I've never used any of these monsters in a campaign of mine. I want to. I need to find the right campaign for it. But the thing is, I love reading the book. I read it every time I read it. It hits me all over again. The fact that the monsters are almost there's a poetic. It's not this is big dragon. It's got 150 HP. It got fire breath. It got spell casting. It big. It likes treasure. The fact that there's something a bit more there, it really hooks on to me. Definitely. Gotta hit the bed. It's all good, brothers. It's all good. Volume 2 of Beasts of the Four Horsemen. Oh Jesus. The idea that Force Horsemen are like super powerful is really strange to me, but it's also very amusing. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll be brain damaged enough that I will continue on his legacy and make a bullshit sequel book, like an unofficial sequel book. Maybe someday. Maybe that'll be some sort of like stream stretch goal or something. Like I don't know, if I hit like 2,000 subs, I will make the fabled third Immortals Handbook or something like that. But yeah, bro, let's have a good sleep and thanks for stopping by, yo. Thanks for stopping by. It's always good to see you here. Yeah, there's a lot of these monsters. Like out of the ones that I've shown, definitely the like the fetal dragons, fossilized the fossilized vampires, and the Olm, like the salamander people. And the Cephalopede, I think those would all be the best fit in a campaign. Campermen too. Like if we almost want to do tiers, I would say like usable in a campaign, could be usable in a campaign, but it'd be very difficult. And then I'm gonna say this tier. My tiers are fucking bananas. Don't mind me. And then the bottom tier are interesting to read, but like not very practical. So if we want to do this, it'd be more like this ranking system right now. That's sort of the best way to describe it. Neutron Golem is Golem of the Year every year, so he gets a special spot. He gets a special spot, even though I would have to struggle to fit him in anything. I love him. I love him. He's so good. Let's see what monsters we got. What monsters we got left? We got two monsters left. We got two monsters left. We have the Trilobite Knight, and then we have Zombie Coral. Both of these are pretty good. I really like Trilobite Knight's probably one of my favorite monsters from here. Bree, you're also going to bed too? Actually, it is getting kind of late. I could in theory, because like I got a couple of monsters in here. I could probably dig for some more for next time. If everyone's getting sleepy, I've been going for 2.5 hours. This is a good run. I think we could end the stream here and do some raiding. I think it's a good time to stop actually. Everyone's getting tired. I don't want to lose you all to the big sleep. So let me see. Oh, Vel is online. What the hell? This is very early / late for her. So we are going to raid Velik. She is a fun COT streamer. Let's go ahead and about type roll. We'll do raid Vel. Here we go. Here's the raid message if you have a sub. Here's the raid free. As far as stuff for next week goes, Vampire might be happening, but I need to double check real quick. I need to double check with some people on that. Other than that, on Friday, I'm going to be doing more Dragon's Dogma because my Thursday stream I need to bounce back for secret planning. And then Tuesday, I'll be playing Monster Hunter with Echo because that's a universal constant. So on Saturday, we're either doing Monster Hunter. No, sorry. On Saturday, we're either doing Vampire or I am going to do a GM stream where I show people how I GM, give some tips, kind of show some stuff from previous campaigns I've run. Anything that won't exactly dox me, I'll try to see if I can find some cool stuff to do. So thank you guys for watching, everybody, and have a good evening and take it easy now. Now go show Velik a good time. Peace.
Hello, Halbernacht. No, I can't fucking stop. I was just about to... Hello.